learn the truth about who planned the raid and to hold them responsible.
That's attorney Brian Spears. Law enforcement officials claim Tehran fired a shot at state troopers. They then returned fire. Reporting live in DeKalb County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Thank you, Austin. Your weather for today, partly to mostly cloudy and warm. We're headed for a high of 70. Will this nice weather hang around? We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast with Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz coming up at 12:05. That'll be your 5-day forecast. A Cobb County school bus was involved in an accident this morning. It happened around 8:30 on Roswell Road at the intersection with Providence Road. No injuries were reported. The students were taken on to Walton High School. Again, no injuries. The cause of that crash is under investigation this afternoon. Police in Madison, Wisconsin today say that they are trying to determine a motive now for yesterday's deadly school shooting. This young student describing the moment a 15-year-old girl killed a teacher and student and injured 6 others at Abundant Life Christian School before police say she turned the gun on herself.
I was getting ready for lunch, so it was basically lunchtime. And then I just heard sodding, and there was a teacher. She was screaming like, my leg, help, help.
2 people remain in critical condition this afternoon with what are said to be life-threatening injuries. Investigators said the girl's family is fully cooperating and they have searched the family's home. A document posted online that may be connected to the shooter is being processed by police right now. The New York architect accused of a string of deaths known as the Gilgo Beach killings has been charged in the death of a 7th woman now. Rex Howerman was charged today with killing Valerie Mack, whose remains were first found on Long Island in 2000. He told a judge he's not guilty, but Suffolk County's district attorney says the evidence against him is overwhelming.
We have mitochondrial DNA from a hair that was found on the body of Valerie Mack, which was portion of the body of Valerie Mack, which was found off of Mill Road.
Investigators are still looking into whether he is a suspect in other unsolved killings on Long Island. 2 men are arrested for exporting sensitive technology to Iran that was used in a deadly drone attack on U.S. soldiers.
On January 28th, 3 U.S. soldiers were murdered.
3 Georgia soldiers, Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, Sergeant Brianna Moffitt, and Sergeant Kennedy Sanders, were killed by an attack drone exploding in their living quarters. Boston FBI Special Agent in Charge Jody Cohen says Iran made that drone using U.S. technology leaked to them by 2 men, one a dual American-Iranian citizen.
The lasting impact of this trauma that has been inflicted upon the family and those killed and injured in Tower 22 attack can never be erased.
The drone may have been mistaken for a U.S. drone expected back at base around the same time, so it was not shot down. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Now to Clark County, where College Square in Athens is getting a major revamp next year.
Construction on a gateway to downtown Athens bars and restaurants is expected to begin next year. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports the plan calls for a transformation of College Square, the section of College Avenue between the Arch and City Hall. Look for more trees and outdoor seating, plus brick pavers will replace asphalt. The price tag for the makeover is estimated at roughly $6 million. The Downtown Development Authority will fund the project, minus $500,000 coming from a special purpose local option sales tax. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Retail sales rose at a healthy pace last month. New government figures today show sales top $724 billion. Analysts say that the 0.7% increase indicates the holiday shopping season got off to a really good start. Retail sales minus autos rose 0.2% in November. The Federal Reserve begins its 2-day policy meeting today. The Fed widely expected to cut interest rates again when it announces its decision tomorrow. It would be the 3rd and final rate cut of the year, with most economists expecting a 0.25 percentage point reduction. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will discuss the decision at a news conference tomorrow afternoon. That usually happens around 2 o'clock. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 199 at 43,518. So the Dow's down almost 0.5%. So is NASDAQ, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your lunchtime roads.
And we're still slowing and going through Palmetto. Right lane starting to open, but we are still locked up here. 85 north, just north of Collinsworth Road, exit 56. You want to use Highway 9 to dodge those delays. Elsewhere, new trouble in Henry County. Crash taken out of left lane, 75 south at Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Really putting the pinch on your ride through Stockbridge. Avoid the area and use Highway 4223. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored here at noon by Shoemate, the official heating of winter. And here is Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz.
Partly to mostly cloudy today. We'll be warm, topping out near 70 overnight and into tomorrow morning. A little patchy fog down to 54, and then 71 tomorrow with clouds, showers, and a few storms as the cold front moves in. Rain chance Wednesday, 60%. will dry out and cool off behind the front for Thursday, low 44, high 60 and mostly sunny. My 5-day forecast for Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny Friday, windy, low 39, high 56. Sunny, breezy, and cool Saturday, low 32, high 49. Recapping the forecast for this afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy, high 70. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
It's 65 degrees in Marietta and 65 in Decatur. Loganville has 64 degrees. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be delighted to have you. As always, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, we'd love to have you be on the program. We have begun sending some emails, just so you know, to those of you who have texted Army as well. If you text Army to 33777 and subscribe, I have been made aware Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles are leaving Talk Radio. I've been a guest host of Ben's for some time and suspected this was coming, and a number of his radio affiliates are thinking of putting me on in his place. And so I've been sending emails to listeners in areas of those stations saying, yeah, if you want to call and tell them you listen. We will close this year with 100% growth in affiliates of this show. So great growth going forward. We got to begin, and I wasn't going to start it this way, but I actually think it's appropriate to start it this way. PolitiFact comes out with its lie of the year. And it has announced that its lie of the year is Donald Trump and J.D. Vance claiming Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, were eating people's pet dogs and cats. They say that's the lie of the year. You know what could have been the lie of the year? Could have been Joe Biden saying all year long he would never pardon Hunter Biden. But no, they decided the lie of the year was Donald Trump and J.D. Vance making that claim to highlight the absurdities of what was going on in Springfield, Ohio. It is an example of the media's bias in determining that that was a lie of the year. You know how I know that wasn't a damaging lie, despite the fact this is how they claim it in their tweet, quote, a lie marked a town and its residents in the name of campaign rage. It was absurd. It was consequential. Our lie of the year goes to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance for false claims that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio were eating pet dogs and cats. That's their lie of the year in Springfield, Ohio. Here's the thing, and this is how I know that the lie of the year is not as consequential as they think. PolitiFact may say that it was very consequential that Trump and Vance lied about the Haitians eating pets, but the reality is they won Springfield, Ohio. It's the first time a Republican candidate for office has won Springfield, Ohio in a very long time. So it may have been not true to highlight what was going on there, an absurdity to highlight the absurdity, which is a rhetorical tactic that some deploy, particularly Donald Trump. He won Springfield, Ohio. So to the extent it was consequential, yeah, he won a place that Republicans haven't won. Why? Because the residents are deeply frustrated with the Haitian immigrants there. And yet Politico, or PolitiFact rather, could have named the lie of the year Joe Biden lying about pardoning Hunter Biden, but no, they decided to do this one. It is an ongoing game the media plays in how they stoke outrage and cover things, which is a perfect segue into Madison, Wisconsin. A 15-year-old girl in Madison, Wisconsin opened fire at a school, killing several, including herself, and injuring others. A second grader is the one who called 911. And Joe Biden, like Barack Obama before him, decided to leave no death unwasted and last night demanded gun control yet again. What I find very notable about this is that Joe Biden did not come out for gun control after an assassin attempted to kill Donald Trump. And Joe Biden did not come out for gun control after an assassin killed United Health CEO Brian Thompson. But kill a few kids, and by God, the Democrats will never let the death of a child go to waste. Democrats seem to love dead children, either through abortion or gun violence, because they don't like to let crises go to waste. Yes, you heard me right. Democrats love it when kids die so they can use the crisis for their agenda. Barack Obama started it after Newtown, and he rushed out after Newtown and demanded gun control, took what could have been a day of mourning for the families and turned it into an immediately divisive event, trying to divide Americans and isolate and ostracize people who oppose gun control. Instead of allowing people to meditate on the tragedy, if anything, Barack Obama, after Newtown, made it impossible for people to have rational conversations about gun control because he immediately made it divisive, which is what Joe Biden has done. Anytime a kid dies in this country, the Democrats either rush to take credit for killing the kid in abortion or they rush to enact some policy that they say would prevent it from happening. How would you prevent this from happening? This is a tragedy. This 15-year-old girl took her parents' handgun. No one's asking for a ban on handguns. No Democrat has come out and said handguns should be banned. So she takes a handgun that belongs to her father and kills people at the local high school. Democrats, please tell me what law would stop this. A 15-year-old isn't allowed a gun in this country anyway. So you took something for which no law could prevent it except the one thing you're not willing to recommend because you know it would be an electoral killer for you, and use it and the memory of the dead kids to advance an agenda and divide people. It is a disgusting level of bottom feeding the Democrats enjoy. They either want to kill kids in abortion or they want to use dead kids to advance an agenda, and they don't have the guts to come out and tell you what they really want, which is a ban on handguns. They don't have the guts to come out and call for it. Joe Biden's not calling for a ban on handguns. It would be unconstitutional, and not a single one of the Democratic leadership in this country is willing to put forward an amendment to the American Constitution to ban guns. None of them are willing to do it. This is Chris Murphy, who went on Morning Joe. Chris Murphy, just the other day, did a video on social media about the killing of Brian Thompson, the healthcare CEO. And he did the whole killing is wrong, but we have to talk about why people would do this in this country. Let's listen to him.
Police in Madison, Wisconsin are expected to give an update this afternoon on yesterday's deadly shooting at a private Christian school there. The shooter has been identified as a 15-year-old female student. A teacher and a student were shot and killed in a classroom during study hall. 6 other people were injured. Police say the shooter also died yesterday.
Now that's Willie, guys. Let's fast forward to Chris Murphy.
Following the school shooting massacre in Uvalde, Texas. It was the first significant piece of federal gun safety legislation in 30 years. The Senate, of course, began to push for those reforms back in 2012 after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in Connecticut when he was a congressman representing that district. Senator, thanks for being with us. We noted earlier that the shooting yesterday in Madison took place 12 years after the Sandy Hook shooting. That terrible, terrible anniversary was on Saturday. Your thoughts here, the facts, the details change a bit. It's a young woman in this case. It's a handgun in this case, not an AR-style rifle. But if you look at the facts that we have right now, what more could be done here and can be done more broadly to stop these awful days?
Yeah, obviously, this is an awful time of year in Connecticut. Those families in Newtown are reliving that horror as we speak. Those empty seats at the holiday table are just devastating. And
the holiday table.
When I think about these school shootings, I think much more broadly than the number of people who are shot or killed. The reality is that our kids who are exposed to this violence, the kids who fear for their life when they walk to school in dangerous neighborhoods like the one that I live close to in Hartford, Connecticut, the kids who have gone through an active shooter incident like this one in Wisconsin, their lives are changed forever. I mean, we're losing a generation of kids because literally your brain chemistry changes when you are exposed to that level of violence.
He doesn't want to offer any solutions other than more gun control. This is a man who the other day got on television or on video on social media and said, we got to talk about all the other aspects of the killing of Brian Thompson that made it wrong but understandable. Democrats never want to have a conversation about mental health. This is a girl, and that's very notable because with the exception of Audrey Hale at Covenant Christian School, and she was had trans issues. And by the way, notice we still don't actually have an official release of her manifesto, and yet all these other manifestos they're willing to trot out pretty quickly, including Luigi Mangione. Why his and not hers? I think we know the answer. It's very notable that it's a girl, and based on initial reports, and I'm going to dance around this a little bit because nothing's been confirmed, but it does seem to be there. She had a very troubled family life, very, very troubled, fantasized about other mass killers, wanted to commit suicide, and decided in the process she'd take other people out with her. She got her parents' handgun. Chris Murphy wants us to understand all the reasons Luigi Mangione could be led to kill, but God forbid we have a conversation about mental health. No, it can only be about gun control in this country. And what legislation has Chris Murphy proposed that could have stopped this particular killing? Exactly nothing. Nothing at all. The Democrats see dead kids and they gleefully say, hey, we can do something here. We can pass more laws and take more control. But they don't actually want to do something that would stop anything. None of them are brave enough to support an amendment to the Constitution to repeal the Second Amendment. None of them are willing to do that. They want to pass an assault weapons ban, which would not have stopped this handgun from being used. They're gleeful about it, and that's the most depraved thing. They justify Luigi Mangione. They justify even the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And now they see this. They're like, hey, let's take advantage of this to pass our agenda. Not a single one of them cared about gun control when Brian Thompson was killed or Donald Trump was nearly killed. But here, hey, let's do gun control. It is very interesting, isn't it? People the Democrats don't like get killed. They're really quiet about gun control. The moment kids get killed, hey, let's take everybody's guns away, except we don't want to say that publicly. It's ghoulish. Yeah, Chris Murphy's absolutely right. This is the anniversary of Newtown, Connecticut. It's not holiday parties, Senators. Christmas parties around Connecticut and Hanukkah parties. You can say Christmas and Hanukkah. You're allowed. And there are children who will not be there. And now there are family members in Madison, Wisconsin who will not be around the Christmas table. And I guarantee you there are presents wrapped under trees for those people who are now dead. And I find it ghoulish and depraved that the Democrats rush every time something like this happens to immediately on the day of, while the blood is not even dried on the sidewalk, to demand that we do gun control. Can't let people mourn, immediately must start a political fight. They believe that starting the political fight immediately over this is because the Republicans never want to start the political fight. And so guess what? We never do have a political conversation about what's going on. Because if we did, we would have to have a conversation about mental health in this country instead of guns, because there's not a law that any Democrat is supporting that would have curtailed what happened in Madison, Wisconsin yesterday, or frankly, what happened in Newtown, given the facts of that situation and the shooter. They're horrible, horrible tragedies. Can the nation not mourn without Democrats immediately politicizing them? Apparently not. It's a ghoulish sickness on the Democratic Party side that everything must be politicized immediately. Even the death of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, his family wasn't even allowed time to mourn before Democrats wanted to go out and vilify him. He should have died, but what a horrible monster in charge of an insurance company. They never even let the family have a chance to mourn. They never let the families in Newtown have a chance to mourn. They never let the families at Parkland have a chance to mourn. They never let the families at Uvalde have a chance to mourn. They never let the families in Madison, Wisconsin have a chance to mourn. And you could say, well, maybe we've got to do something about these school shootings. Show me a law that would stop them. You know, Columbine, which really kicked off the chain of modern school shootings, was done after the assault weapons ban had been passed, and they used shotguns. There is not a law being advanced by Democrats to curb mass shootings in this country that would ban shotguns or handguns, just spooky-looking guns Democrats don't like. And they don't want to actually propose anything because they know they'd be voted out of office. Because the only way to really stop this, if you're not going to deal with the mental health issues and talk some Jesus into these people, which the Democrats certainly don't want to do, is to ban all guns. And the Democrats don't want to do that. So the three things that you actually could do to fix the situation, Democrats don't want to do. They just want a political option. It's like the whole reason they never decided to solve immigration in this country, because they would rather have all the immigrants pour into this country so they can try to get amnesty than actually solve the problem at the border. Democrats never want to solve the problems. They just like to use dead kids as props to advance policy agendas that they think will help them win elections without actually then implementing those policies.
Want to be on the show?
Hello? I love your show.
Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
At 1221, tracking a travel advisory through Cobb County in the Cool Carrier Traffic Center. Debris in the right lane, 75 south of Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Delays forming already. Avoid the area here, take Highway 41 and heading northbound on 75. Crashing a couple left lanes here at Highway 5, exit 267. Same alternate here. Highway 41 is perfect to hop on. And dealing with delays down in Henry County. Crash looks like they're blocking all lanes for a second and move it off to the shoulder, but we're still seeing those delays. 75 south at Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Things looking really tough. Avoid the area here as well. Take Highway 23. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
My goodness, thank you so much to the generous folks who have contributed so far to Clark's Christmas Kids in our 34th year. We have some kids we don't have gifts for yet in these final stages to see that every child in foster care across the state of Georgia has gifts to open that they wished for Christmas morning. Just go to clarkschristmaskids.com and show that once again this year, the power of people, the listeners of WSB, have made the difference.
At Doctors Without Borders, we put patients first, and we go where we're needed most. We believe people deserve to be treated with compassion and dignity. We treat our patients completely free of charge and without regard to race, religion, or politics. And thanks to the 6 million people around the world who support our work, Doctors Without Borders will continue to put our patients first.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. It's hard to imagine, but one day in retirement, your income will stop. You may have been working for 30 or 40 years, but now you'll have to depend on the money you've saved for the next 30 years. How do you know if you've saved enough? What does it mean to spend confidently in retirement? One of the worst things that you can do is get to retirement and not know how much income your investments can produce. At Nicholas Wealth, we created a plan that will show you what your investments can potentially generate in dividends, interest, and growth in retirement. We call this our Spend Confidently plan. When's the best time to turn on Social Security? What are some of the best dividend-paying stocks available? Our CPAs and CFPs will show you what your income number is and how a diversified portfolio of income-producing investments could potentially provide you consistent monthly income. Our Retire Ready Income Report is a $1,000 value. We'll provide it completely complimentary if you've saved more than $250,000 for retirement and you give us a call in the next 10 minutes. Number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, Priority Men's Medical Center will get your love life back in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your love life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To regain your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
It's Eric. Are you thinking of adding value to your house, or just you want more convenience and more comfort in your kitchen? Frugal Kitchens can get you one of those $1 million home kitchens at a fraction of the cost. They want to talk to you about how you can go through their process, get your new dream kitchen up and going, and you can be cooking in 5 days from the start of construction and get 18 months no interest financing available. It's what Christy and I have done. Life happens in your kitchen, and Frugal Kitchens can put you in a great one. FrugalKitchens.com.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the GHSA.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5
Traveling
WSB.
for the holidays? Take Eric's podcast with you. Available on Apple, TuneIn, YouTube, and wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search The Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, remember, as you are traveling, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you'll be able to get the podcast, the live stream. I will be here Tuesday for the annual Christmas show. We'll re-air it on Wednesday for Christmas. You won't have a guest host on Christmas Eve. I am taking some time off, though. It is that time of year. Remember the gangs, kind of important here, the Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, Colorado. When Donald Trump started calling attention to, and Fox News and others called attention to, the Venezuelan gang in Aurora, Colorado, remember local Democrats said, yeah, it's not really a problem. No, it's not a thing. And Republicans started saying around the country, yeah, actually it is a thing. In fact, I got a friend of mine who works closely with the DEA who says it's a thing in Gwinnett County here in Georgia outside of Atlanta. This Venezuelan gang is very violent. They've spread to other parts of the country. Well, that particular apartment complex in Colorado got a lot of attention on the right, and people on the left were rushing during the election to say, no, it's not real. It's not real. Well, let me play you this from Fox News. It kind of speaks for itself.
Okay, Aurora, Colorado now. This is a live look now. The sun is up there in that state, and police have now detained 14 people and reported armed home invasion. That's the same apartment complex where a lot of people were complaining about the armed Venezuelan gang members roaming the halls. Reports indicate that investigators said that several suspects entered the apartment and had 2 people inside. The suspects then reportedly moved the victims to another apartment complex, or rather another unit on the property, where police said they were found threatened and bound. An adult man sustained a non-life-threatening stab wound. At the moment, police say it's unclear if the suspects are connected to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, but we'll get a live report in Colorado 30 minutes away and bring you the latest.
Spoiler alert, they were connected. After all the denials from all the people on the left and reporters in Colorado and government officials in Colorado before the election, no, it's not really a thing. Turns out it really is. It really is. Now, you know what else is a thing is Americans for Prosperity, and they'd love to have you on their side for this election, or for after the election, rebuilding America, helping advance the Trump agenda and common sense conservative reforms. All you got to do to play a part in it is to go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. Sign up with them today, and you'll be able to be part of a big movement in this country to advance common sense conservative reforms across the nation. They fight for school choice. They fight for families. They fight for small businesses. They fight for common sense solutions to the border and what to do with all the illegal immigrants already here. They fight for common sense crime solutions as well. americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. Go sign up with them today. You'll be the smartest person in your circle of friends. You'll be the most informed advocate for freedom among all the freedom fighters in your circle of friends. AmericansForProsperity.org/volunteer. Sign up with AFP today. Join me with this great organization as we fight nationally for freedom.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. We're following a developing story out of DeKalb County today. Police on the scene right now of a shooting at a home on Overlook Avenue off Union Grove Road. The home is riddled with bullets. Channel 2 Action News reporting that there were people inside the home at the time of the shooting, including a 13-year-old. They say they took shelter in a bathroom. Nobody was hurt. Police are now investigating. Your weather for today, partly to mostly cloudy but warm. Highs around 70 this afternoon, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. This is new this afternoon. The family of Emmanuel Tehran have filed suit. He was the man killed by police while opposing the new Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. The family's attorney is Brian Spears.
The objective of this lawsuit is to learn the truth about who planned the raid and to hold them responsible.
Now, law enforcement says Tehran fired a shot at state troopers and they fired back. It's going to be a very busy holiday travel season. Gio Benitez says it's going to be even busier than Thanksgiving.
We said that Thanksgiving was the busiest so far. This will be even busier by a long shot. Let's go ahead and start with the skies here. AAA projects that more than 7.8 million people will fly during the end of the year travel period. That's more than last year. TSA expecting to screen 40 million travelers between this Thursday and the new year.
And he says the busiest day at the airport expected to be Friday. Most cars already have a warning sound for those in the front seat who are not buckled up. Well, pretty soon, those in the back seat will hear that sound too. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says starting in September of 2027, all new passenger vehicles will be required to have a warning sound in the rear seat if passengers are not wearing a seatbelt. It's 12:32.
When it comes to cooling, heating, and hot water for your home, there's a solution that's good for your wallet and the planet.
I switched to a water furnace geothermal heat pump because it uses the energy in my yard to provide incredibly efficient conditioning for our home and uses zero on-site fossil fuels. I'm protecting resources for future generations. It's a win for our environment.
I made the switch to water furnace geothermal because it will pay for itself in just a few years. While the upfront cost might be higher, incentives and rebates make it affordable for everyone. Water furnace units are twice as efficient and last 40% longer than other HVAC systems. And the average water furnace owner in Georgia pays less than $50 a month to condition their entire home. It's a win for our family's bottom line.
Whether you're driven by the environment or by savings, water furnace geothermal heat pumps provide the best of both worlds. Make the switch today. Visit waterfurnace.com to learn more about how geothermal can work for you.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Dave Baker here. So you're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Don't panic. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is the original red ribbon garage door company trusted in Atlanta since 1935. Call 404-USA-DOOR or schedule online at overheaddooratlanta.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Andrew Seco.
And dealing with some debris in the center lanes through Cobb County. Travel advisory now 75 south of Whitty Hill Road, exit 260. Delays stretching you back a few miles. You want to use Highway 41 to dodge all that stoppage. And crash still active in the left lane through Henry County, 75 south. Slowing you down at Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Mix of sun and clouds, 70 for a high today, 71 tomorrow with scattered showers and a few storms.
It is 68 degrees right now in Powder Springs, 65 in Jefferson. Vinings has 68. We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It's Erick Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you with me. Just stand by. I got a lot of stuff I need to talk about, particularly right now. So, if you will recall, someone leaked Donald Trump's tax records to, I think it was ProPublica, other media outlets, funneled through a left-wing group. Someone had direct access to Donald Trump's records. It turns out it was a man named Charles Littlejohn. The story got published in ProPublica and the New York Times in 2020 and 2021, containing data on returns from billionaires, including Jeff Bezos, Michael Bloomberg, and Donald Trump. The leaked returns were traced to Charles Littlejohn, who took a sweetheart deal with the IRS, by the way, guilty of disclosure of thousands of tax records without authorization, only 5 years in prison. That's it, just 5 years. And the media was able to run stories on Donald Trump, who apparently was a primary target, as well as others. So I got home yesterday from the office, had a letter from the IRS. It turns out that Charles Littlejohn stole my tax records, too, and leaked them to left-wing groups. It wasn't just Donald Trump and Jeff Bezos and Michael Bloomberg. It was little old me as well. My tax returns were clearly not enough to be salacious, although when I started my website, The Resurgent, after I left Red State, a major conservative donor advanced the funds to be able to build the website and became a partner with me in my LLC. And I'm sure it was more to target him than me. The story never went anywhere, but then even as I've grown my radio show and stuff, this guy was leaking my tax returns to left-wing groups. And the media decided to play down the story and play down the significance of what actually happened. And this is why it's so significant, is that the IRS and the Department of Justice decided to go after this guy and only sentenced him to 5 years in prison. Charles Littlejohn is 38 years old, lives in Washington, D.C., worked as an outside contractor for an outside group. This is from the Department of Justice. According to court documents, Littlejohn, while working at the IRS as a government contractor, stole tax return information associated with high-ranking government officials. Littlejohn accessed tax returns associated with a public official A, that would be Donald Trump, on an IRS database after using broad search parameters designed to conceal the true purpose of his queries. He then uploaded the tax returns to a private website in order to avoid IRS protocols established to detect and prevent large downloads or uploads from IRS devices and systems. Littlejohn then saved the tax returns to multiple personal storage devices, including an iPod, before contacting news organization One. Between around August 2019 and October 2019, Littlejohn provided the news organization with the tax return information associated with the public official. Little John subsequently stole additional tax return information related to the public official and provided it to the news organization. Beginning in September 2020, the news organization published a series of articles about the public official's tax returns using tax return information obtained from Little John. In July and August of 2020, Little John separately stole tax return information for thousands of the nation's wealthiest individuals. Little John was again able to evade detection by uploading the tax return information to a private website. In November of 2020, Little John disclosed this tax return information to news organization 2. The first one would be the New York Times, probably the second one ProPublica, which published nearly 50 articles using the stolen data. Little John pleaded guilty. Little John pled guilty, but he could have gone to jail for a much longer sentence. The IRS went easy on him. The IRS cut a deal. And that's probably something that needs to be noted. This is from Ruben A. Villona, who writes at Tax Notes. On May 1st of 2024, Charles Little John began serving a 5-year prison sentence for unauthorized disclosure of tax information. As anyone follows the case would know, the public official was Donald Trump and the news organization was the New York Times and ProPublica, which published tax return information for Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, among others. Little John performed a public service. A presidential tax return contains highly relevant information to the voting public. As for the super rich, information about how little tax they pay is even more important because it reveals the deep flaws of the income tax system. Under current law, disclosing tax returns is a crime, and he pled guilty. Under sentencing guidelines, his maximum sentence would be 10 years, but the District of Columbia judge sentenced him to 5 years or 6 times the maximum sentence on the grounds that others must be deterred from doing the same thing. However, what's so interesting here is this is someone who says essentially we need exposure of all of these things and we need documentation of all these things. But actually, you talk to a lot of people involved and a lot of tax attorneys involved. They're like, actually, he should have been sentenced to a whole lot longer than this. The left claims he was punished too harshly. The reality is you need maximum deterrence. And that maximum deterrence means Little John should have been sentenced to a whole lot longer in prison. And by the way, charged with a whole lot more than he was charged. That's a part of the problem here as well. It's just wild to me that I get this letter from the government yesterday informing me in 2024 that sometime between 2017 and 2021, my records were leaked. Why was I only notified now in 2024? And I'm not alone. Thousands of Americans had their information leaked. Thousands of Americans had their information leaked. The left weaponizes this stuff. Now, I say all this because I want to bring your attention to a conversation with Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman is the co-founder of LinkedIn. And Reid Hoffman is a major Democratic donor. Major Kamala Harris supporter. And I want to play you part of this conversation Reid Hoffman had in an interview with the British personality. Just listen to part of this conversation.
I've been called evil by a number of people on the left. Really? Yes, of course. Look, they are wrong that is a necessary correlation, right? But I try to understand people. I understand their perspective. I disagree with it, but I understand it.
I mean, you're one of the few people that's still a billionaire and on the left, it seems.
No, I'm not. Actually,
in the Valley, especially in this election cycle.
Well,
it's the public-facing people that we see on the podcasts and stuff. And
look, so part of the reason why I think less people were public about it this cycle was because, President Trump was threatening, personal and political retaliation. And so you had to have a certain degree of courage to stand up.
You got that? Donald Trump was threatening personal and political retaliation. The left has weaponized the IRS against its opponents for a long time. And they'll say, well, Richard Nixon started it. Yeah, but you kept it going whether he started it or not. The left targeted Tea Party activists when Barack Obama was president. Remember, what's her name at the IRS, Lois Lerner at the IRS, targeted Tea Party groups, wouldn't give them tax-exempt status, wanted to investigate them. When Bill Clinton was president, coincidentally, every single woman who accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault got audited by the IRS. Remember, they went after Paula Jones, and they said, it's just a coincidence. I had no idea she would be targeted. They did it with Tea Party groups, and we know from the Inspector General at the time that the Democrats targeted them specifically. They've gone after conservative groups repeatedly. Rush Limbaugh got audited numerous times when Clinton was president, when Obama was president. A lot of conservative groups did, a lot of major conservatives did. It's no coincidence. So a left-wing activist goes into the IRS working with an outside group as a contractor and intentionally and willfully decides to release the private tax information of individual Americans. And he only got 5 years. That's not really deterrence. The left is zealous for this cause. The left desires to expose people. The left desires to take on this issue. That's no deterrence. And here's the thing. When you begin to weaponize the IRS to go after your enemies like this, one, your complaints about what the other side might do fall on deaf ears. Two, probably does incentivize the other side doing something similar. And three, destroys trust in the IRS and the tax system of this country. You may not like billionaires paying taxes, but you know what? Those billionaires who don't pay as much in taxes as you, so to speak, percentage-wise, maybe they don't, but they're still paying a lot more in taxes than you and me. Paying a lot more in taxes. And when they don't trust that the system is fair, when they don't trust that the system is secure, they're going to start paying lawyers to find more ways to get around taxes. It undermines the whole system. And the left can't seem to wrap their minds around this. They think these billionaires are going to pay more taxes. You know what? They're not going to. They're not going to. What they're going to do is they're going to either move to a different country with a different tax system, or they're going to hire their lawyers to shelter more income and find ways around the income tax system. You got to have a tax system that works, and increasingly ours is too complex to work. But beyond the complexity of our system, it's the doubts that the system is being fair to people. And when you have left-wing activists agitating to leak the tax information of those they don't like and weaponize it in friendly left-wing media outlets like the New York Times and ProPublica, you begin to degrade the system and so destroy trust in the system. I was a victim of Charles Littlejohn. Donald Trump was a victim of Charles Littlejohn. Multiple other people were victims of Charles Littlejohn. He was heralded as a hero, and he was not severely punished by the government, despite the left-wing activists who don't like our tax system saying he was. No, he should be in jail for a much longer time, but the IRS reduced the number of charges. They could have given him counts for all the people whose tax information he leaked. They didn't. He could be in prison for a very long time, and they chose not to, because he did for them a useful service to undermine the tax code. The left rewards people, even when they purportedly are punishing them, for undermining those things that they want to undermine to advance their agenda. In this case, it was the tax code, because they think billionaires aren't paying their fair share. And they also wanted to try to ruin Donald Trump. How many other people, and this is the thing that annoys me the most, it is December 17th, 2024 today. Yesterday, December 16th, 2024. Only now am I finding out from the IRS that I was a victim of Charles Littlejohn. It's absurd it took them that long. Now, while all this is going on and you've got all sorts of distrust in government and with banks out there, Swiss America has been warning you about the secret war on cash put on by the same government that didn't want to tell me about my taxes being leaked. Swiss America has been the trusted leader in precious metals for 40 years. They've been warning people about the secret war on cash. If you're interested in safeguarding your hard-earned cash from this war on cash, you got to get their free report. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, and they can educate you on protecting your assets. Their report takes less than 15 minutes to read. It can save you on your retirement and finances. If you want a free copy of it, you call or text 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency. It is spreading. It is the government trying to monitor what you're spending, even using cash. So get the free report, completely free. Just mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. The report is completely free. Let Swiss America educate you on the secret war on cash. 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
When the world seems crazy, he'll keep you sane. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
At 12:50, looking at a travel advisory about the ballpark in the Cool Lake area. Traffic center debris cleanup. Only a left lane open. 75 south of Woody Hill Road, exit 260. You want to use Highway 41. And heading northbound, delays still active with a crash in the right lane. 75 north at Highway 5. Delays looking really tough. Anywhere you're trying to go on I-75. The alternate in Highway 41 starting to jam up as well. You may want to consider using Piedmont Road or planning a couple extra minutes of commute time for Highway 41. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Make your morning commute a lot more tolerable.
Only a left lane open past a big rig crash.
Atlanta's Morning News.
Delta's hired a law firm to pursue damages. Everything you need to know before you start your day.
Now we're looking at about 12 inches of rain.
Tomorrow starting at 5.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement. And it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
This holiday season, skip the practical and give something magical. This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where we've been Atlanta's source for holiday magic since 1939. We take the risk out of gifting, with a selection sure to have the perfect piece, and the experts here to personally help you find it. For a timeless gift that keeps on giving, our dazzling diamond studs start at just $275, and they can be upgraded for life. For a personal touch, pick from a huge selection of birthstone jewelry starting at just $155. Plus, showstoppers like diamond hoops and tennis bracelets to blow her away and make forever memories. Or for the ultimate magic moment, find the perfect ring for an unforgettable holiday proposal. Hand-picked diamonds and handmade settings that'll make her say yes before you even ask. With Atlanta's best staff of in-house jewelers, have the ring of her dreams sized and set in time for Christmas. With our local family business feel and 85 years of bringing you only the best, D. Geller & Son is here to bring you holiday value and magic this season. Come shop with us in Atlanta, Kennesaw, or Sandy Springs, or browse our gift guide at dgeller.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. If your business is growing and you find yourself needing access to capital, reach out to them. They might be able to help you. They make their own decisions. FirstLibertyGA.com. Tell them I sent you. Take 10 minutes with them. See if they're a fit for you and you for them. FirstLibertyGA.com. All right, to the phones I go. Arthur, you're going to be up first. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. So the guy that leaked the tax returns committed a crime, and then the New York Times and ProPublica published it. Sounds like furtherance of a crime to me. Can they be charged with anything?
No, generally not in this country because of the First Amendment, unless we can prove direct culpability. And in this case, we couldn't, just based on his information. He obtained the documents, and only after obtaining the documents, reached out to them. They didn't have to question where he got them from. And so they were able to
known that they were illegally leaked.
Oh, yeah, but there's actually court precedent in this country at the Supreme Court level that if the media reveals information that was illegally gotten, they're still allowed to do so. This goes back to the Pentagon Papers when the guy at the Pentagon leaked classified information to the New York Times, and the Nixon administration sued to stop it. And the Supreme Court said you can't sue a newspaper. Now, there's some quibbling there because you can sue for damages after the fact if they do this, but public officials and rich people tend to not be able to do that because there's got to be a level of malice involved. And they were just printing truthful information that may have been ill-gotten, but it wasn't ill-gotten by them. That's part of the problem, that one of the things Donald Trump wants changed in this country is the laws related to this, that the news media can be punished. And, in other Western countries that don't have a First Amendment, the news media could have been punished, but not in this country. It's kind of wild to see members of the media being so angry with ABC News for paying $15 million to Donald Trump, saying we got to do something about this. Well, if we went with what Europe does, ABC News could have been taken off the air. George Stephanopoulos could have been ruined for doing what he did. It's wild the media is not thinking about this. They're so emotional when it comes to Donald Trump. He has broken so much of the media, and they're just flat out emotional about what's actually going on. The other thing the media has been emotional about is Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. They cannot understand how a free market libertarian with wild hair could get elected down there. They cannot understand his demand that government get out of the economy, that it would work, and turns out it has worked massively. Argentina is officially, according to the Financial Times, out of its recession. The economy is expected to grow 5%, which, given the massive decline, it'll only amount to about a 2 to 3% growth in the economy overall this year, but it's actually impressive, very impressive what Milei has done in Argentina. When we come back, I actually want to tie that into something domestically. The government has decided that every seat in your car must have a seatbelt sensor that must ring a chime if there is no seatbelt. If it detects weight in the chair, but no one's in it, it's got to ring the chime. And all this is doing is driving up the costs for poor people so that they can't actually have a car. And there's no legislated mandate for this. It's the bureaucrats and the regulators driving up people's costs, hurting the economy. Something we should learn from Milei you don't want to do. We'll discuss it when we get back.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Hip Nation. The parents of a man who was shot and killed by officers almost 2 years ago while protesting the development of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, well, they have filed a new lawsuit today.
Manuel Terran was camping in a DeKalb County park out of protest near the training center site in January 2023. That's when Terran was shot and killed by officers as they raided that campground. Law enforcement officials claim Terran fired the first shot, but this new suit focuses on what came before.
For the past 2 years, our clients prayed to know the truth about what had happened and why.
Attorney Brian Spears says the suit names a GBI special agent who allegedly planned the raid along with 2 Georgia State troopers. In DeKalb County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Nice and warm this afternoon with highs around 70 under partly to mostly cloudy skies, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Police on the scene of a shooting near Overlook Avenue near Union Grove Road in Lithonia. Channel 2 Action News reports a house is riddled with bullets. No word yet on injuries, although we have learned that people were in the home at the time of the shooting, including a 13-year-old girl. Channel 2 says that they ran into the bathroom to run for cover when those shots were fired at their house. College Square in Athens getting a major revamp in 2025.
Construction on a gateway to downtown Athens bars and restaurants is expected to begin next year. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports the plan calls for a transformation of College Square, the section of College Avenue between the Arch and City Hall. Look for more trees and outdoor seating, plus brick pavers will replace asphalt. The price tag for the makeover is estimated at roughly $6 million. The Downtown Development Authority will fund the project, minus $500,000 coming from a special purpose local option sales tax. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Now, your health. Vitamin D and calcium supplements apparently do not necessarily help prevent falls and fractures in people over the age of 60. That's the findings of new research from a federal health panel.
That does not mean that you shouldn't take vitamin D or calcium because it's important for overall health. That should continue. But we just didn't find that it was beneficial in preventing fractures or falls. That's the bottom line.
Dr. Gautam Rao serves on the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. He says, though, that vitamin D is still important. It helps the body absorb calcium, benefits the immune system, the brain, and muscle performance, among other functions. And you are running out of time to get those holiday gifts sent out. The U.S. Postal Service saying tomorrow is the last mailing day to ensure delivery before Christmas for First Class and Ground Advantage services. UPS saying packages need to be with them by Thursday for their 3-day select service. And FedEx recommending you get those boxes shipped out today to make sure that they are there in time for their ground and home delivery options. It's 102.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric. So I'm a small business owner. You know, I'm an employee here at the station, but I've also got my own small business for my national syndicated show. And it pains me trying to get great benefits for my employees who I do like to take care of. And healthcare is just absurd these days. Can I recommend to you an option? Hip Nation. They might be able to help you. You're paying outrageous premiums. Your employees, they can barely afford to take care of their health care options themselves, much less add their families to their plans. And maybe you're struggling, like I struggle as a small businessman, to actually provide great health care options for my employees. Try Hip Nation. Go to hipnation.com. Get a free quote. You're going to find they've got great options for your employees. At hipnation.com, you can get a second opinion on your options for healthcare today. They're better healthcare, lower costs. Hipnation.com. That's hipnation.com.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Tired of looking at your stuff lying around? Spacemakers Custom Closets can help you get organized. Their team of designers will help you create the perfect space for your stuff in any room of your house. Check them out at spacemakersclosets.com. Spacemakers Custom Closets, an artisan family brand.
Spend time where it matters most this holiday season and sell your home fast with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. The guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market, receive an all-cash offer, and close in as little as 21 days. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Still dealing with debris cleanup by the ballpark. Travel advisory active. 75 south of Whitney Hill Road, exit 260. Only the left lane's open here. Delays back a few miles avoid the area and use Highway 41. Elsewhere, construction still making things tough through Cherokee County. Right lane road work slowing you down. 575 south at Highway 92. You want to hop on Highway 5. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. With Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast, will be warm this afternoon with a partly to mostly cloudy sky near 70, falling back through the 60s this evening. Wednesday starts at 54 with some patchy fog, then mostly cloudy, scattered showers and a few storms in the afternoon as a cold front approaches. But Wednesday's rain chance at 60%, high 71. Behind the front, we cool off and clear out. Mostly sunny Thursday, low 44, high 60.
We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
0, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome across America. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, I guess we can say we're the fastest growing news talk program in America, literally gaining 100% new affiliates. This coming year, we're keeping the old ones, but adding to them. We'll be, when we close out the year, over 55 affiliates. We're just picking up some more today. I just got told for January in California and Oregon and elsewhere around the country. Anchorage, Alaska, across the state of Mississippi, up in New York State as well. Lots of stations coming on board. Now, the phone number, 877-973-7425. I gotta go with a pet peeve here. It's relevant. Just bear with me here. Here's my pet peeve. Republicans in Georgia passed a law a number of years ago that has increased car accidents and deaths. They did it for the children. It's always for the children. Everything every regulator does, all big government does, is they do it for the children. In Georgia, they decided to put speed cameras in front of schools. And I realize some of you are like, oh, it's for the children. Oh, you have to do it. Oh, it saves lives. So a woman near me was killed a couple of weeks ago because she was at an intersection where railroad tracks cross and a train was coming, and there was so much traffic she couldn't move, and the train hit her. She was a senior citizen, and she died. And the local newspaper says for some reason, traffic in that area is up 5-fold increase from a year before. I can tell you exactly, as someone who goes through that area, why traffic is up 5-fold. It's because they put in speed cameras at one of the local private schools where you can't even, the school has no sidewalk. Just so you understand this, this particular private school has no sidewalk in front of it. You can't actually see the buildings where the kids are in school. You see their soccer field and their baseball field. You don't see the school. You got to go on a side street down a road to get to the school. Doesn't matter. They justified it in this location, even though there's no sidewalks, kids are not dropped off there. They did it for the children, and now this woman's dead because she's at a railroad crossing and she can't get out of the way when the train is coming because there's been a 5-fold increase in traffic because people are going a different way to avoid those cameras. Now, why are they avoiding the cameras? You know how in the mornings and the afternoons you have the little yellow flashing speed light signs to slow you down? You would think that's when the cameras are working. No. The way they wrote the law, even when those lights aren't flashing during the day, the cameras could still be on and give you a ticket. And people don't know. And so they're just avoiding it. They don't know if they're going to get a speeding ticket or not, because here's the thing. If the speed limit sign is 35 miles an hour and you go the speed limit, you're going the speed limit, and the cameras are on, depending on where you're going, you could still get a speeding ticket. If it thinks the school zone's in effect, even though the lights aren't flashing, you're going to get a ticket. It's a garbage scam, and their lobbyists, I guarantee you, reaching for their phones to call in right now. Spare me. We've had the lobbyists in charge. In fact, had one of them call one time. Well, actually, we got to keep the children safe. We were keeping the children safe before your damn obnoxious cameras were there. Now you're getting people killed all over the place because of these cameras all over the place. Nobody knows, so they're altering their traffic patterns because of the stupid cameras. By the way, for the record, I should say I've never gotten a ticket from one of these. I'm one of the people who altered my route, and I typically don't speed through a school zone anyway. But what's so wild about it is we're doing it for the children. You can't even see the school from the road, and there's no sidewalk where you're putting these cameras up. Well, the DOT did a study. Oh, my foot. I know how those studies operate. Now some woman's dead because of the increase in traffic. She couldn't get out of the way, but they did it for the children. What's one more senior citizen when we've saved a child who's never going to get hit at a school zone? And what's actually happening is, if you talk privately to the politicians, every last one of them will concede. It actually has nothing to do with the children. That's just for the idiots out there. Like those of you right now who are saying it's for the children. You're actually one of the rubes that the politicians are laughing about. You've made it easy for them. They'll tell you privately, it's a revenue driver. They don't have to raise taxes now and get the voters mad at them. They just put up the speed cameras, and they raise revenue. All it's done is altered people's behaviors. Now, I start with my pet peeve here, and Republicans in Georgia should change the law. Literally, people are getting killed in car wrecks now because of your stupid speed cameras. You decided the former speaker's, I guess, relative was a lobbyist, and you sneaked it in the last minute of the legislative session when no one was looking several years. It was really scammy how they put it in as well. And the Republicans won't get away with it. They won't change it now because the lobbyists keep throwing cash at them to keep killing people in car wrecks who are trying to avoid speed light cameras that shouldn't be giving them tickets, but they are. And as an aside, I know multiple people who have gotten tickets on holidays. And you know what they have to do? They got to write a letter and say school wasn't in effect that day. Literally had this happen to a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago. School was out of session because it was Thanksgiving week, and he got a ticket, and the school wasn't even in session. And the law says you're not supposed to get a ticket. And so he's got to write a letter to the company that gave him the ticket and say school wasn't in session that day. It's you put the burden on the taxpayers and the citizens so that you can scam them out of money. Yes, it makes my blood pressure boil. See, here's why I philosophically hate these cameras. It's because it allows the government to abdicate their personal law enforcement responsibility to a level of automation that you can't actually ensure doesn't do anything other than tax the poor. And ultimately, what all the good Republicans in the state did is they passed a law that authorizes taxing the poor, because the rich person with time on their hands is smart enough to write the letter, but the poor person who works 3 part-time jobs to make ends meet and got the speeding ticket doesn't have time to write the same letter, and they're going to get stuck with the fine. You've taxed poor people. And when the Republicans have just been taken over by the working class, they should be the ones opposed to these automated cameras outside schools that don't even need them. Now, this gets me to the other issue. The regulators doing this. They're driving up costs to alter people's behavior. One of the things that President Milei discovered in Argentina as an economist to get rid of the recession they were in was to drive down regulatory costs and to get rid of regulations and to get rid of regulators. He would have gotten rid of the speed light cameras in Argentina because it's just a burden on people. Concurrent to him realizing you've got to reduce the number of regulations. Concurrent to that, one of the things that our bureaucrats in this country are doing, in addition to putting speed cameras in places to tax the poor without actually raising taxes, is they're adding all sorts of safety features to vehicles now that don't need to be there. Federal regulators have just announced they're now going to require that every new car made in this country have a sensor on every seat in the car that rings the seatbelt alarm. Every single seat in the car will have one. So if you have stuff on your back seat that triggers the sensor, you're going to have to buckle the seatbelt even though there's no one back there. And it's just another cost to a car. And what they say, just like the people who put in the cameras, is, oh, we're doing it for the children. We're doing it for the children. You're not doing it for the children. What you're actually doing it for is to price poor people out of the market for cars. That's exactly what it is. It's a backdoor way to price people out. And this is the thing that infuriates me. Same with the cameras. They don't want to be honest and say it's a way of raising money for school systems without raising taxes. They don't want to be honest with these regulations in cars and say it's a way to tax poor people out of getting in a car. Think about all the stuff cars have to have. They got to have the camera for rear view backing up. They got to have the airbags and the seat belts for the drivers and the front passenger, which is fine. But now you got to have those sensors. You've also, for fuel economy sakes, you got to have the tire sensors. All of these little things add up. What Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy should do with Doge is they should get a law passed that says every car manufacturer in this country can produce at least one vehicle and only require anti-lock brakes, the seatbelt, and the airbag, the seatbelt for the driver. Because all of these little things that you have to have are just driving up the cost for the poor, and that's actually the point. The regulators don't want to tell you. The regulators don't want to admit this is about curbing your ability to buy a car. They say it's for the children, like the speed cameras. It's for the children. And really, it's not. It's to force you to change your behaviors. It's to force the cost of doing business to go up so you can't afford to get into a car. And the less cars they have, without ever having prohibited you from buying a car, they've got poor people on public transportation now because they're saving the environment. And all they're doing is they're punishing Americans. There are lots of reasons that the price of cars are up now. The price of the raw materials are up and everything else. But when you start adding in the sensors, and let's not forget the breathalyzer that's coming to cars soon, it prices even the middle class out of a reasonable car option. And then what happens is they have to go to used cars. And then the used car prices also go up because the demand is so high for the used cars. It screws up the entire market every time the government adds this bit of regulation. Mike Lee in the Senate and Chip Roy in the House, God bless them, they're suggesting that after the Looper Bright decision, where the regulators can't freely interpret these laws anymore, that it might be time to sue to get rid of some of these mandates. Because Congress did not mandate that every seat in the car needs a seatbelt sensor. Congress didn't do that. Congress didn't do it. And yet they're driving up the cost of doing business. It's a real problem. It's like the regulators and the bureaucrats and the Republicans in my state and the local school boards putting up these speed cameras. It was never about saving the children. That's just the talking point. No children have been saved by having these cameras, but people are being killed in car wrecks as the traffic patterns get altered for people to avoid accidentally getting a ticket when they're driving the speed limit, but the speed camera says actually you're supposed to be driving slower than the posted speed limit right now. It's a mess. Milei in Argentina has discovered that if you get rid of the regulations, the economy grows. Our Congress, led by Republicans coming up, needs to do a really good job of looking at the regulators and the regulations, particularly when it comes to the automotive industry in this country. They've driven up the price of a car, and they've forced poor people into doing public transportation. When in the past they could have had a car. Now they can't have the car. They got to go to public transportation. The public transportation doesn't serve them as well. They can't get themselves to work on time. They're dependent on a bus and a bus driver somewhere. The bus may or may not be late, and it impacts their ability to do their job. It's all part of government regulation. And time again, what that regulation is for is to drive up the cost of people doing business, to force them to curb their behaviors, overwhelmingly to save the environment. Overwhelmingly to save the environment. It has nothing to do with saving you. It has nothing to do with saving your life. It has everything to do with getting you out of your vehicle. It's a shame. It's a shame. Now, I got to say something here at the end. Gotten a couple of people talking about the lady who died at the crossing, saying it was her fault. It was her fault. You know, it was her fault. She was too close. That intersection, however, you're basically, when you're stopped at a stoplight, you're on the railroad crossing. She couldn't back up because there was so much traffic behind her. Yep, she shouldn't have been on the railroad tracks. I think we can all acknowledge that. She played a direct role. It's a terrible tragedy. She was on this railroad crossing, but she couldn't get out of the way of the arm, and she couldn't back up because of all the traffic behind her to be able to get out of the way. And if you actually read the news stories about it, and not just the urban gossip about it, one of the major reasons is because the massive amount of traffic that's now on that road. The massive amount of traffic that's now on that road is directly linked to the school cameras at the school, where you can't even see the school, and there is no sidewalk, and there are no children that are ever walking there, but they said they did it for the children. And the result is a backup in traffic elsewhere, and this poor lady got on the railroad tracks, shouldn't have been on the railroad tracks, but then when the train started coming and the arm went down, she couldn't back up because of all the traffic behind her. Traffic that used to not exist at that time of day until they put up the speed light cameras. It's a shame. It's a tragedy. Yes, she played a role in it, but let's not also forget that the entire traffic pattern changed because Republicans allowed local school boards to do a backdoor tax on poor people, claiming it was for children, and it wasn't. It never was for children. It was always for more revenue without having to actually raise taxes and get blamed by the voters.
He'll do the research and give it to you straight. Eric Erickson is live every weekday.
121 in the Cool Ray Carrier 24-hour traffic center, where we're dealing with some heavy delays approaching the perimeter. I-75 southbound near Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Crash knocking out multiple right lanes. And then northbound delays, you are struggling as well from an earlier crash that was cleared before Highway 5. You can avoid all of these tough delays by taking Highway 41 as an alternate. And this report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Get holiday savings at Whole Foods Market. Save 30% on all spiral cut bone-in ham with Prime through December 17th. While supplies last, shop in-store or online, terms apply. I'm Kobe Dawkins, 95.5 WSB.
My goodness, thank you so much to the generous folks who have contributed so far to Clark's Christmas Kids in our 34th year. We have some kids we don't have gifts for yet in these final stages to see that every child in foster care across the state of Georgia has gifts to open that they wished for Christmas morning. Just go to clarkschristmaskids.com and show that once again this year, the power of people, the listeners of WSB, have made the difference.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Up top, Bike Shop.
Yeah. It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messethorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time. Woo! Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
They want another review.
And here you are getting your news, weather, and traffic on WSB. As a small business owner, you might be thinking,
if only the hundreds of thousands of WSB listeners knew that my business is perfect for their needs.
Growing your business is easier than you think. Most of the successful and respected brands you hear advertising on WSB grew their leads and revenue connecting with our listeners.
Brands like Coolray, Breda Pest Management, and Finley Roofing. They built relationships with the listeners who tried their products, loved them, and told their friends. This could be your business.
It's easier than you think because it's what we do. Customize advertising campaigns to increase your leads and revenue.
WSB has a team of creative brand builders who know how to get your message out and grow your business.
Join the elite Atlanta small businesses that grew to the next level thanks to WSB. Just go to WSBradio.com and click the advertise button in the top navigation bar, and someone will contact you shortly. Grow your business the right way with WSB Radio.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You stream your favorite podcast. Search The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. This is kind of funny. There is some breaking news happening now. The President of the United States has pressured the Archivist of the United States, Dr. Colleen Shogan, the very first woman to hold the position, to publish the Equal Rights Amendment. Why? Now, this is a very distinct legal issue here. Enough states have passed the Equal Rights Amendment that it should be a constitutional amendment, except for a provision in the legislation authorizing it that required it to be adopted within 10 years of its passage in Congress, which never happened. So the Archivist of the United States has released a statement, quote, as Archivist and the Deputy Archivist involved of the United States, it's our responsibility to uphold the integrity of the constitutional amendment process and ensure that changes to the Constitution are carried out in accordance with the law. At this time, the Equal Rights Amendment cannot be certified as part of the Constitution due to established legal, judicial, and procedural decisions. In 2020 and again in 2022, the Office of Legal Counsel of the U.S. Department of Justice affirmed that the ratification deadline established by the Congress for the ERA is valid and enforceable. The role of the Archivist of the United States is to follow the law as it stands, ensuring the integrity of our nation's governing institutions. Personal opinions or beliefs are not relevant. As the leaders of the National Archives, we support established legal precedents and decisions and continue to serve with transparency and integrity. That's from the National Archivist. Why? Because the President of the United States has ordered the Archivist to publish the Equal Rights Amendment as part of the Constitution, even though it's not. Isn't that authoritarian? Isn't that totalitarian? And isn't the system working? Yeah. Now, before we move on, I got to tell you about my bank, Old Glory Bank. I hope you might consider doing business with Old Glory Bank. They would love to have your business. If you go to oldglorybank.com today, if you're buying a building or what, wrong, nope, sorry, confusion, sorry. If you've got a business and you need a bank account, or you're an individual and you need a bank account, Old Glory Bank can be your bank. They can do no-fee checking and savings for you as an individual. They've got great business account setups. They also have great interest rates on their savings account, their CDs. They do mortgages. They do car loans, home equity lines of credit, everything you need. They're a real bank. They'd love to be your bank. By conservatives, for conservatives. You never have to worry about your bank canceling your bank account if you use Old Glory Bank. Go to oldglorybank.com. oldglorybank.com. It is my bank. It can be your bank. oldglorybank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. New this afternoon, the family of Manuel Terán have filed suit. He was the man killed by police while opposing the new Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. The family's attorney is Brian Spears.
The objective of this lawsuit is to learn the truth about who planned the raid and to hold them responsible.
Law enforcement says Terán fired a shot at state troopers. They fired back. Your weather for today, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy and warm. Highs around 70, says WSB meteorologist, Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. We are following a developing story today out of DeKalb County. Police on the scene this afternoon of a shooting. This is at a home on Overlook Avenue off Union Grove Road. The home riddled with bullets. Channel 2 Action News reports that there were people inside the home at the time of that shooting, including a 13-year-old. They took shelter in a bathroom. They say nobody was hurt. Police are right now investigating. There's over 500,000 snow tires being recalled today.
Frank's Chen Shan Tire North America is recalling over 500,000 Fortune, Tormenta, and Prinks High Country replacement tires. They're labeled as snow tires but don't have enough traction for severe snow conditions, says the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It says that could increase the risk of a crash. Owners are expected to be notified by mail about the recall by February.
And most cars already have a warning sound if those front seat belts are not buckled up. And pretty soon, the same thing's going to happen for those in the back seat. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration saying starting in September of 2027, all new passenger vehicles will be required to have a warning sound if rear seat passengers are not buckled up. It's 1:32.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods, and check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Are you in the market for a new PC? The holidays are coming up. Let me tell you why Vision Computers should be your first and only stop. When you get your PC from Vision Computers, you're not just buying a machine, you're stepping into a stress-free experience. Vision takes care of everything from setting up your new PC to making sure your printer's ready to go. Need your emails transferred from your old computer? They got you covered. And if you've been using Microsoft Office, they'll migrate it seamlessly to your new device so you can hit the ground running. It's all part of their famous managed services, a level of personalized support that sets them apart from the rest of the pack. And the best part, they're just a phone call away. Vision's tech support has an average hold time of under 15 seconds. Think about that, 15 seconds. No endless waiting, no being bounced around to call center to call center. You get Vision computers, and look them up online. They've got 4,300 reviews that are 5-star reviews. Their customers consistently rave about their quality. If you're ready for a new PC, give them a call, 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com. That's 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Norwegian Cruise Line invites you to experience more in the Caribbean, Alaska, Europe, and beyond. For a limited time, get 50% off all cruises and enjoy NCL's all-new More at Sea cruising package, including unlimited open bar, specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here is the 24-hour traffic center.
Hey there, Sabrina. Dealing with that travel advisory in Cobb County, I-75 southbound near Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Crash knocking out multiple right lanes. Seeing delays back to Chastain Road. Use Highway 41 as an alternate. I'm Kobe Dawkins, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. With Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast, we'll be warm this afternoon with a partly to mostly cloudy sky near 70, falling back through the 60s this evening. Wednesday starts at 54 with some patchy fog, then mostly cloudy, scattered showers and a few storms in the afternoon as a cold front approaches. But Wednesday's rain chance at 60%, high 71. Behind the front, we cool off and clear out. Mostly sunny Thursday, low 44, high 60.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Tell you the truth, even when it isn't popular. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen of the United States, you may not know this because of the way we cover news in this country, but today is actually Election Day. And I know you're thinking, I haven't been to vote. Well, because you're not involved. Today is the day the Electoral College meets, and I have breaking news for you. Donald Trump has been elected President of the United States by the Electoral College. Enough votes have been cast in the Electoral College now that Donald Trump will be President-elect of the United States of America. I know you think it's all about you and November's Election Day, but all you did in November was elect members of the Electoral College, and they themselves got together today in their respective state capitals and cast their votes for President of the United States, and they're the ones who matter. And so today, as of now, voting's still going to be happening several more hours as we move across the country. And, well, Donald Trump now has enough votes in the Electoral College to be President of the United States, making it official short of certification when we get to January. Never say I don't cover the breaking news. It's big breaking news here. It is the election. And back in the day, before I started voting, when I was young, all the ballots in every state in the country listed the Electoral College members you were voting for with headlines like Reagan, Mondale, whatever, in their list of Electoral College. Nowadays, every state skips that step and just puts who are you voting for, Harris or Trump. But actually, you're not voting for Harris or Trump. You're voting for members of the Electoral College, and they're the ones who matter. And today they voted. And there will be enough votes for Donald Trump to be President of the United States. Now, we got other stuff to go to. I got to spend one more day on the drones. I know some of you are obsessed with the drones. So in the past 24 hours, I have heard that there is actually a nuclear weapon on the loose in the Northeast. I have heard that it is aliens. I have heard that it is demons. I have heard it's the Russians, the Iranians, the Chinese, the Canadians, the Mexican drug lords, you name it. It is multifaceted. The other night, there was a lot of cloud cover in New Jersey, and the drone sightings collapsed, which means the drones are flying above cloud level. They're not flying at 500 feet. But beyond that, there's another issue. And that issue is that in the state of New Jersey, a hospital has reported nuclear material missing. This is from Fox 5 New York. According to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, radioactive material went missing on December 2nd. It was a shipment. The shipment arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and is empty. Mayor Melman was on Good Day New York from Bellevue, New Jersey. He doesn't know for sure that the drones are looking for radioactive material, but says that is likely what some of them are for. The United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission reported radioactive material lost in transit to Newfield, New Jersey on December 3rd. The material was approximately 0.267, what is MCI? Now I got to go down the rabbit hole. MCI measurement unit. It is a millicurie. Oh, okay. So it's nothing significant. 0.267 millicurie of activity was shipped for disposal, but did not arrive intact. The shipping container arrived at its destination damaged and empty. The licensee filed a claim with the shipper. If the source is not located within 30 days, the licensee will follow up. What kind of actual nuclear material was it? Well, nuclear material not enough to cause any permanent injury, could cause potential harm if mishandled. It's a small amount of nuclear material that was being sent for disposal from a hospital's radiology laboratory. Not enough to build the dirty bomb, not enough to build a nuclear weapon. It was enough for a hospital, and it's gone missing. But remember what I told you yesterday. There are nuclear detectors in New York City that are so sensitive that after someone's been to the hospital and gotten radiation treatment, they can trigger those things. So some of the drones do appear to be searching for radioactive material. They've been doing test runs on these sorts of drones for a while. This is a live exercise to find it. Now, the other drones that seem to be out there are from what I told you about yesterday. There's a big pilot program for a drone manufacturing facility in New Jersey, and they're flying the drones from New Jersey through Pennsylvania into Delaware. And they've gotten clearance and permission by the government to be able to do it. And they said last year in their press release that this, at the end of 2024, is when they were going to start. Into 2024. So here we are, the end of 2024. The press release said they'd be starting. So we got drones in the sky looking for some radioactive material. We got drones in the sky going place to place. And in Virginia, we do have the Chinese and Iranians. Here's the thing that sets them apart, and pay attention to this, please. The Chinese and the Iranian drones are running without lights on. They don't want you to see them. They don't want to be detected. They're not running with all of the lights on for flight patterns. Why would they? John Kirby was on CNN and had this exchange.
Taking a big left turn here, and something else under your purview right now, John. I want to ask you more about this drone mystery that has continued. You say that currently these drones do not pose any sort of threat. The way I heard you say it is you assess their commercial, lawful drones, law enforcement drones, hobbyist drones is what people are seeing. Nothing anomalous, no criminal activity detected yet. The mayor of Montville, New Jersey, was just on with us, and he essentially says he does not believe that. Let me play this for you.
If someone is making a really bad decision by not coming clean and say that these are our drones, we're doing some sort of an operation, nothing to see here, they are safe.
And what the mayor's talking about is these are our drones. Is he saying these are government drones? He is not happy with the response that he's been essentially getting from you guys. What do you say?
Well, I would repeat what we've said yesterday and last night in a multiple agency statement, that we have taken a serious look at this. We have gone through 5,000 some odd sightings. We have added detection capabilities to the region. We've even sent up visual observers. And everything we're seeing to date, our assessment tells us that these are commercial drones, hobbyist drones, or law enforcement drones, all operating legally and lawfully. I mean, when people shoot video of that, Kate, I mean, you're seeing the lights on these things, the navigation lights. That's what's required if you're going to be flying in U.S. airspace at night, are navigation lights. So clearly they're being operated in a lawful and legal way, and we've seen nothing from their behavior, nothing, that tells us there's a public safety threat or a national security threat. I do want to add one point, though. We still got about 100 leads that the FBI is following up on. And if we learn something that contradicts that, or something more, something additional, something more specific, my goodness, we're going to come public and we're going to talk about it. We have been trying to be as transparent with the American people as we can. But I think it's also important to remember that there are 1 million drones registered with the FAA, and thousands upon thousands fly in U.S. airspace legally every single day.
He sounds annoyed. John Kirby sounds like he's had enough of the drone talk. He's ready to get out of the White House. He's like the only competent person in the administration. Sure, he's a political hatchet job guy for the left. People on the right don't like. He's the only competent guy in the White House, and he seems pretty annoyed. If you listen to the statements from Mayorkas and from Kirby over the last couple of days, whether you like them or not, they're all but saying people have overreacted. Yes, there are drones. Yes, there are government drones. But yes, a lot of them are private drones. And also, a whole lot of the sightings are aircraft, like planes and helicopters. People are beside themselves. People just get worked up about stuff. There is a history of social contagions in this country. Remember going back to what was it, the 15 and 1600s, the dancing social contagion in Europe, where people couldn't stop dancing until they fell over dead. You got people in a mass panic. And look, that's not to undermine the fact that, yes, there are drones. But one of the wildest things is on the social media frenzy these days, they're like, there's a stray nuke. Someone has a nuke. They're looking for a nuke. Okay, it does appear some of the drones, not all the drones, are looking for this biomedical waste that is radioactive. But just follow with me here. For those of you who are convinced there's a dirty bomb somewhere in the Northeast Corridor, the other day was the Army-Navy game. The President-elect and Vice President-elect of the United States were there. Leading members of Congress were there. Supreme Court justices were there. Members of the current president's cabinet were there. There is no way on God's earth the government would allow all of those people to be present in one location if they were worried about a dirty bomb somewhere on the eastern seaboard, let alone in the mid-Atlantic and north. They wouldn't do it. Some people just want to believe it. And here's, it's like, I got people who are really mad at me for being dismissive of the idea that Michelle Obama was going to be the Democratic nominee, because they listened to some podcast or they watched some show, and that person was absolutely convinced that it was going to be Michelle Obama. And I was like, it's not going to be Michelle Obama. Here's what I know. She doesn't like this. She doesn't want to be back in the White House. She didn't like it when she was there. She doesn't want to be president. She doesn't want to run for office. She don't want to do any of these things. But no. Some dude on some social media channel insisted you was going to be Michelle Obama. Therefore, I'm wrong. Same thing now. There's got to be a dirty bomb because some conspiracy theorist on the internet says so. And those of us who say there is no dirty bomb, we're wrong. And the proof is, well, of course, they put all those members of Congress there because they were hoping to explode the dirty bomb so Joe Biden and Kamala Harris could stay in office. Except the bomb didn't explode. So where is it? It's not there. I cannot take crazy off the internet. I'm sorry. It is wild to me, the wild conspiracy theories people want to believe. And then they tell you that you're some sort of a pawn for the one world government. No, you idiots who believe the wildest things are the pawn for the one world government, because nobody's going to believe you even if you're right, because you're so insane. The fact of the matter is, China, Russia, and Iran would not respect our air corridors, let alone the light laws on drones, which all of these drones do. So it's not demons, and it's not aliens, and it's not our enemies. It's Americans, and a lot of them are airplanes and helicopters, and people would rather believe wild conspiracy theories than the truth, because the conspiracy theory is always more titillating, isn't it? It's always sexier to believe the conspiracy theory. We can make the very complex very simple, and we can make the very simple very complex with just a conspiracy theory. All we need are people to believe. The reality is, rarely is anything as sexy as you make it out to be, particularly when it comes to stuff like this. It's just people are panicked now. We have a social contagion. People are seeing things that are not there. People are seeing things they don't understand. And people are seeing things that they don't have, they've got limited information on. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. That is, the less you know about something, the more sure you are of what you know. The more you know about a topic, the less sure you are about anything related to that topic. A lot of people who don't know a whole lot are very convinced of what they've seen, and they won't be dissuaded from it. But again, many of these same people thought Michelle Obama was going to be president of the United States, and how did that go? Now go. Speaking of going, to visioncomputers.com. Let them build you a computer. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. You're going to save some money. Visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. You go to Vision Computers, they can build you a computer, they can save you money, and then you get their 5-star tech support. So if you ever have a question about your computer, you call this number. It's a special number. I can't give it to you on the phone, but I have it because I'm a Vision Computer customer. You call this number, 15 seconds or less, they answer the phone. They don't put you on hold. You tell them what's going on. They can even remote in if they need to and take care of you and your computer. Visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Now, if you want a new computer from them, they can set it up exactly like your old computer, so you get the brand new stuff, the faster, better machine, but you got all your documents, your settings, your apps, all that stuff on there. All you have to do is go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE. If you're a business, you can get their tech support for your existing computers as well. $179 a year. If you're an individual, you can get their tech support for your existing computer. You don't even have to have bought a computer from Vision Computers to get it. Just $179 a year. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show, the perfect blend of news, analysis, opinion, and cooking. Yeah, cooking.
150 in the Coolray Carrier 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory remains in Cobb County. I-75 southbound near Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Crash and debris cleanup still knocking out multiple right lanes. Use Highway 41 as an alternate. And another travel advisory getting into Cobb County from Cherokee County. I-575 southbound past Highway 92, exit 7. You're dealing with a crash knocking out one left lane. And then also, as you continue, you're dealing with construction knocking out one right lane. Avoid that by taking Highway 5 as an alternate. And this report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Kobe Dawkins, 95.5 WSB.
What do you do to get stimulating conversation?
You don't go after a woman's dog.
What do you do to get a unique opinion?
2 + 2 = 4.
Now, you can start listening to the Von Hessler Doctrine at work.
The WSB lawyers were hardcore on Eric about that.
Yeah.
And continue on your drive home.
Then go back and clarify.
The Von Hessler Doctrine.
Today.
Now starting at 3 p.m.
I think it's going to be good for the country.
95.5 WSB, Atlantis News and Talk.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the GHSA, are the 195,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Georgia. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric Erickson. Let's talk about second opinions. When you get diagnosed with something, you want another doctor to take a look, give you their advice, you get a second opinion. Maybe you should consider getting a second opinion on your health insurance plan. Hip Nation can give you that second opinion. You know, you're paying outrageous premiums. You've got employees who can barely afford insurance for themselves, much less have their families, or maybe you can't even afford to offer anything to your employees at all. Look, as a small business owner myself, I know the struggles of trying to provide quality health care for your employees, and you're busy. Well, take the time to go to hipnation.com and you'll get a free quote. You'll find you've got other options for health care for your employees. Why continue to pay so much for health insurance when there's another better option? Go to hipnation.com. Get your second opinion today. HipNation has better health care, lower costs. Yes, it actually is possible. HipNation.com. That's HIPNation.com. Go check them out today.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual Imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Let's go back to the phones here. Robert's been waiting on the drone issue. Welcome to the show, Robert. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for taking my call, Eric. How you doing today?
Great. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about this drone activity. Something that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about yet is something called a DRODM. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It is a funny word, but follow me here. NOTAM is the acronym for a Notice to Airmen. Mm-hmm. And as a private pilot, I'm not a professional or commercial pilot, but as a private pilot, every time I fly, I check the area notices to airmen, or the NOTAMs. And those are typically going to give you information about if a runway is closed or if there's something else that might be pertinent to your flight. Well, they have these DRODMs, which is a drone notice to airmen, and these are registered through the FAA. If you were to go on any type of flight planning software, like a skyvector.com or anything like that, for flight, they will show you where these drone notices are. If you were to go on the New Jersey area, there is a plethora of these notices, and they're small circles. They tell you the radius from where the drone activity is and the surface, or at least the altitude from the surface. So I haven't heard a lot of people talking about these, but it certainly is explainable. There's lots of them in the New Jersey and New York area. So just wanted to kind of put that out there. It should calm people a little bit.
It should, and the technology park last year issuing the statement, maybe they should reissue it, that, hey, it's starting at the end of 2024, we're going to be using a flight path through New Jersey to test drones for the government. But yeah, man, I got to be honest with you, Robert. When you said DRODM at first, I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be a joke about male anatomy at some point?
How did he get past the call screen?
I'm really glad it didn't go there, but this is, and I'm glad you said it, because somebody had mentioned it to me the other day that it was the notice to airmen thing, though. They didn't use DRODM, so I'm glad you called it that. But yeah, that could have gone south. Thanks very much for the phone call, man.
It's definitely a funny word, but the thing about it is even when you go on these flight software websites and check these drone notices to airmen, it's not going to tell you who issued them. Or what organization or who is registering them. But rest assured that the FAA knows about these. They're planning them. They're putting them out there for pilots who are flying in the airspace.
That's useful to know. Look, I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you. All right, folks, speaking of Christmas, you got Omaha Steaks is coming up with their Christmas deal. 50% off site-wide right now at Omaha Steaks. They would love to have you as a customer. So not only do you get 50% off site-wide, but at checkout, you're going to get $30 more off at Omaha Steaks. All you have to do is, when you go to checkout, put in ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout. You're going to get an additional $30 off beyond already 50% savings on the site. Now, I know the website can overwhelm you because it overwhelms me. Why? They have so much incredible stuff at Omaha Steaks. And again, it's all 50% off. So if you go to omahasteaks.com, you'll find the search bar at the top of the site. If you're on mobile, click the magnifying glass. And if you put in Eric, E-R-I-C-K, you will get a package from Omaha Steaks. And you'll be able to see it. You get free burgers included in the package. And then minimum order required at checkout, you put in Eric as your promo code, you get $30 off. It's incredible savings at Omaha Steaks. You can get the bacon wrapped fillets, you can get the chicken breast, you can get the Omaha Steak burgers, the gourmet jumbo franks, the caramel apple tartlets. You get free burgers. Don't forget the pork chops. Don't forget the potatoes au gratin. Don't forget the mini chocolate cakes. They're delicious. 50% off site-wide, $30 off at checkout with my name, omahasteaks.com. Spend time where it matters most this holiday season and sell your home fast with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. The guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market, receive an all-cash offer, and close in as little as 21 days. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
From our family to yours, thank you for trusting Jape Services.
Hi, this is Daniel and Jana Jape, local owners of Jape Services. We just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for trusting us with all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs.
We're honored to keep you comfortable year-round and look forward to continuing to provide superior customer service
And price transparency.
to make sure you stay comfortable in the future.
Wishing you a wonderful holiday season from all of us at Jape Services.
First Liberty Building and Loan. They say yes to small business financing when big banks say no. It's Eric Erickson. Make a 10-minute call to First Liberty Building and Loan, and you will know if you're a fit for their program. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top local story. A new lawsuit is filed against several members of law enforcement in connection with the January 2023 death of a man protesting the construction of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center.
A judge previously ruled the state troopers involved in the shooting death of Manuel Tehran at a protest campsite at a DeKalb County park would not face charges. Now Tehran's parents say they want answers from those who organized that raid.
Why would you go into a public space and arrest someone who is not breaking a law, where the space is open to the public and has been historically used for First Amendment purposes?
Attorney Jeff Filipovitz represents the family and says the suit names a GBI special agent and 2 Georgia State troopers. In DeKalb County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It's 70 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz expects a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day with highs around the 70-degree area, and a few storms are going to be appearing on Hump Day, says Brad. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is straight ahead. The man accused of shooting 3 people inside the hub at Peachtree Center before being shot and subdued by an off-duty officer last June has been offered a plea deal. Jeremy Malone has until January to decide whether to accept the state's offer in Fulton County on the attempted murder charge. The state is recommending 30 years with 15 to serve. On each of the 4 counts of aggravated assault, prosecutors are asking for 20 years with 15 to serve. A lawsuit by a group of Palestinians in Gaza and American relatives accuses the State Department of giving Israel a pass when it comes to a U.S. law meant to limit military aid over gross human rights abuses. Former State Department officials are advising the lawsuit. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, meantime, denies having a double standard when it comes to Israel and enforcing this 1997 law. A San Francisco jury has convicted a tech consultant of second-degree murder today in the stabbing death of Cash App founder Bob Lee. Prosecutors say Nima Momeni planned the attack after learning that Lee was the one who introduced his younger sister to a drug dealer who she says later sexually assaulted her. The world's most famous fictional Top Gun is now a decorated naval hero. Navy Secretary Carlos Del Toro presents actor Tom Cruise with their highest honor, the Distinguished Public Service Award. It's 2:02, live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
It's Eric. I don't know about y'all, but life happens in our kitchen. It's where we have our memories, our family time, our laughs. Well, you don't want a lot of downtime, but you may want to renovate your kitchen. You want one of those $1 million kitchen looks and get it at the fraction of the cost with Frugal Kitchens. They know that you've got plans for your kitchen, and they want to help you. And here's why I love them. They can have you cooking in 5 days from the start of construction and get you 18 months no-interest financing. FrugalKitchens.com. That's where you want to check them out, FrugalKitchens.com.
So another year has passed and you still have the same piles of stuff lying around. Maybe it's time to throw it out. Oh, no, wait, it's my stuff. Well, Spacemaker's Custom Closets can help you get organized. Dave Baker here. Spacemaker's Custom Closets will help you organize anywhere in your house that needs it. Closets, garages, pantries, offices, anywhere. Their team of designers will help you create the perfect space for your stuff. Check them out at spacemakersclosets.com. Spacemakers Custom Closets, an artisan family brand.
They said I couldn't do it, but I'm doing it. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic, and I'm changing the septic industry. Customers ask, how do you not charge to pump out our tank with a repair? Other companies charge hundreds for that. What's the catch? No catch. With Scorpion Septic, there's never a pump out charge with your repair.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic. Details online.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. When it comes to cooling, heating, and hot water for your home, there's a solution that's good for your wallet and the planet.
I switched to a water furnace geothermal heat pump because it uses the energy in my yard to provide incredibly efficient conditioning for our home and uses zero on-site fossil fuels. I'm protecting resources for future generations. It's a win for our environment.
I made the switch to water furnace geothermal because it will pay for itself in just a few years. While the upfront cost might be higher, incentives and rebates make it affordable for everyone. Water furnace units are twice as efficient and last 40% longer than other HVAC systems. And the average water furnace owner in Georgia pays less than $50 a month to condition their entire home. It's a win for our family's bottom line.
Whether you're driven by the environment or by savings, water furnace geothermal heat pumps provide the best of both worlds. Make the switch today. Visit waterfurnace.com to learn more about how geothermal can work for you.
It's 2:04. Live team coverage of traffic and weather begins right now. First, let's check in with Kobe Dawkins live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good afternoon, Kobe.
Well, good afternoon, Veronica. Still dealing with that travel advisory in Cobb County. I-75 southbound near Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Crash and debris cleanup still knocking out multiple right lanes. Use Highway 41 as an alternate. And also another travel advisory in Cherokee County. I-575 southbound near Highway 92, exit 7. You're dealing with some construction and a crash knocking out one left lane and construction knocking out one right lane. You're only getting by on the right shoulder. Use Highway 5 as an alternate. I'm Kobe Dawkins, 95.5 WSB.
Partly to mostly cloudy today. Will be warm this afternoon and through this evening, slow to fall through the 60s. We'll bottom out Wednesday morning at 54. A little patchy fog to start the day. Mostly cloudy with scattered showers and a few storms tomorrow afternoon. Rain chance 60%, high 71. And for Thursday, mostly sunny, cooler, low 44, high 60.
Right now it's 72 degrees in East Point, 72 in Ellenwood, and 70 degrees on Peachtree Street in Midtown Atlanta at 2:06. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is the third hour of the Eric Erickson Show here nationwide. The phone number 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the program. Delighted to have you. If you text the word donate to 33777, I'd appreciate it because I got a great group out there called Help the Persecuted, and this time of year they're spending an enormous amount of time overseas in the Middle East helping persecuted Christians. And with the fall of Syria, there are a lot of people to help. It's a great, great cause. If you text donate to 33777, I'll send you the link. And also, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, we'll be doing the show. I will be doing the show on Tuesday next week on Christmas Eve. In most parts of the country, it'll re-air on Wednesday for Christmas. Some stations, I think, go all day Christmas music, but those that don't, you'll have it in. If you text Eric to 33777, You'll be able to get the live stream of it on Christmas and Christmas Eve. In fact, we'll start airing it on the live stream at noon on Christmas Eve. It'll repeat until noon on the 26th. So you'll be able to get the Christmas show. I gotta read you some headlines here. These are all from Andrew Friedman at Axios. He was one of their energy climate reporters. Here's headline: 2023-2024 climate change records defy scientific explanation. The year is closing out with more global temperature records that in aggregate largely defy what many climate scientists expected for 2024. Among the potential factors driving this year's as well as 2023's record warmth is the unsettling possibility that global warming is accelerating and the planet's climate behaving differently than expected. If so, the climate scenarios that form the basis for countries' decarbonization goals could be faulty, with higher warming levels and greater societal consequence likely to arrive sooner than expected. According to Copernicus data, that is the Copernicus Climate Change Service, November was the 16th out of the past 17 months during which global average surface temperatures exceeded the 1.5 degrees Celsius target relative to pre-industrial temperatures. Here's the next one. Again, Andrew Friedman at Axios. This one's from 6 hours ago. Warm winter days surge across Europe, North America, and Asia. Winters are rapidly warming across the northern hemisphere because of human emissions of greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels, a new report shows. This is now being seen in many more days with temperatures above freezing. Many warm winter days mean fewer opportunities for winter recreation and can have knock-on effects on water supplies during the following warm season. Climate change has added at least an additional week of winter days with temperatures above freezing each year during the past decade in more than one-third of 123 countries analyzed. The analysis compares recent trends with what would be expected to occur in a world without increasing amounts of heat-trapping greenhouse gases. You know, one of the things that newspapers and news outlets are doing these days, like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in Atlanta, Georgia, where I am, the flagship paper, has hired environmental activists paid for by environmental groups to hysterically cover climate change. So they're using nonprofits to hire climate reporters to hysterically cover climate so that everybody knows there's climate disaster coming. It's all a bunch of left-wing environmental groups paying these reporters salaries, and they disclose it at the bottom that this coverage was subsidized by, covered by, sponsored by left-wing activist group that we're not going to tell you is a left-wing activist group, but it's happening. It's what they do with the trans issue as well. They get a bunch of reporters in newspapers across this country and news outlets who come from left-wing interest groups who report on these left-wing issues from a left-wing perspective. And the news media gets to the left of everybody on this stuff. But the climate one is most hysterical. Now, I want to go back to the first one I read. And again, this is from Axios. This is from yesterday. New data from the NOAA, NASA, and the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service show the planet had just had its second warmest November on record. According to the data, November was the 16th out of the past 17 months during which global average surface temperatures exceeded the 1.5 degree target relative to pre-industrial temperatures. Separately, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration found that so far this year, 6 continents have had their warmest temperatures on record for the year so far, while Asia has ranked second warmest. We have no idea. Listen to this sentence. At the American Geophysical Union conference in Washington last week, top climate researchers discussed how to account for the steep, as yet incompletely explained warming spike seen during 2023 and 2024. It's hysterical. It's alarmist. It's scary. However, as I noted on radio way back when, on January 15th, 2022, the Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcano in the Pacific exploded. The volcano triggered tsunamis in the South Pacific. It sent a massive plume of water vapor into the stratosphere. And throughout 2023, scientists had increased the estimates of how much water vapor went into the stratosphere. Originally, scientists thought 50 million metric tons of water went into the atmosphere. Now, they've revised it to 150 million metric tons, which equates to, get this, 40 trillion with the T gallons of water injected into the stratosphere. From January of 2022 to the summer of 2023, scientists produced papers warning that we were going to get hot on the planet and that global temperatures could exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius. Now, when I originally pointed that out, a left-wing reporter named Rachel Friesen, decided to fact-check me and say, there was no guarantee this would be the case, but I want to read you the headlines. I've done this before. Just bear with me. This is what NASA said on August 2nd, 2022. The huge amount of water vapor hurled into the atmosphere as detected by NASA's microwave limb sounder could end up warming Earth's surface. This is NPR, August 3rd, 2023. Tonga's volcano sent tons of water into the stratosphere. This could warm the Earth. The violent eruption of the Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcano injected an unprecedented amount of water directly into the stratosphere. The vapor will stay there for years, affecting Earth's climate, scientists say. The New York Times, September 22nd, 2022. Scientists say water vapor injected into the stratosphere by the volcanic eruption in January of 2022 may have a slight, though temporary, warming effect. Live Science, September 24th, 2022. The explosive event increased atmospheric water by 5% and could warm the Earth for years. Space.com, November 3rd, 2022. The cloud rose so high that scientists had to explore unusual methods to infer its peak altitude. Nature, December 19th, 2022. Major volcanic eruptions are well-known drivers of sudden climate change. The effect of the recent major eruption of Hunga Tonga Hunga submarine volcano on the January 15th, 2022 may be very different from that of prior eruptions. The warming event may last for up to 3 decades. New Scientist, January 12th, 2023. The massive eruption of a Tongan volcano in January 2022 has made it more likely we will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming within the next 5 years, but the effects should disappear by 2035. Carbon Brief, January 15th, 2023. The eruption of Tonga's underwater volcano in 2022 may cause global temperatures to rise, raising the risk that at least 1 year in the next 5 will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold. Phys.org, January 25th, 2023. Models show the Tonga eruption increases the chance of global temperatures rising above 1.5 degrees Celsius. In a paper published in the journal Nature Climate Change, the group suggests the impact will be large enough to push global temperatures above the 1.5 degree limit targeted in the Paris Agreement in 2015. Here's Forbes from January 30th, 2023. Year-old Tonga eruption to keep global weather wild for years. The problem is the blast emitted 50 million metric tons of water into the atmosphere, an increase of 5%. In turn, that will mess with climate. And on they went. So let's get back to today's hysteria from Axios. The year is closing out with more global temperature records that in aggregate defy what climate scientists expected. Among the potential factors driving the year's record warmth is the unsettling possibility that global warming is accelerating and the planet's climate behaving differently than expected. If so, climate scenarios that form the basis for countries' decarbonization goals could be faulty. Notice there is no mention of the volcano. It was all over 2022 and 2023, and now suddenly we have no idea. We have no idea. You know what? Maybe we got things wrong, and maybe industrial nations need to cut back even more quickly. It's all fear scenario. Scientists predicted after this volcano put 150 million metric tons of water in the atmosphere. Remember, the initial reports, even some of the headlines, said 50 million, and they've revised it to 150 million metric tons, 40 trillion gallons of water spread out across the atmosphere. Water is a known global warming agent. Water is known to trap heat. Global temperatures were widely predicted to go above 1.5 degrees Celsius because of this massive volcano spewing that much water into the atmosphere. And now the climate actors are like, we have no idea what's causing it. We may have to do more and get industrial countries to shut down quicker. Never let a crisis go to waste. Democrats, when kids are killed in a school shooting, immediately rush for gun control. Never mind that the proposals that they put forward would not have stopped it. When the world gets warm because of a volcano, the climate scientists do the same thing. Never let a crisis go to waste. They rush forward with ambitious goals to punish the West. Notice India, Brazil, Russia, India, China, none of them are going to follow this stuff. The BRIC countries, they're not going to follow it. China is not going to scale back. The United States right now produces less carbon emissions than we did in the year 2000. 25 years later, we're producing less than we were in 2000. China, not so much. But do the Chinese care? No. They give lip service to the communist environmentalists who bend over backwards to fawn over the communist Chinese and say it's those evil capitalists. We need command and control economies. They're not letting this crisis go to waste. This crisis isn't a crisis. It was predicted in 2022 that what is happening right now would happen. And even the reporters who cover, like, we have no idea. They have memory hold a massive volcano because they hate you and capitalism and wish to destroy our economy.
He's got the courage to tell you the actual truth, even when it isn't popular. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
2:20 in the Cool Carrier 24-hour traffic center. Well, travel advisory remains in Cherokee County, I-575 southbound near Highway 92, exit 7. You're dealing with some road work and a crash. Your crash is knocking out one left lane, and then construction knocking out one right lane. People are only getting by on that right shoulder. Use Highway 5 as an alternate. And a little bit of better news in Cobb County, I-75 southbound near Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Crash and debris cleanup now knocking out only one right lane, but I'm still seeing tough delays back to Chastain Road. Use Highway 41 as an alternate. And this report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Get holiday savings at Whole Foods Market. Save 30% on all spiral cut bone-in ham with Prime through December 17th. While supplies last, shop in store or online, terms apply. I'm Kobe Dawkins, 95.5 WSB.
My goodness, thank you so much to the generous folks who have contributed so far to Clark's Christmas Kids in our 34th year. We have some kids we don't have gifts for yet in these final stages to see that every child in foster care across the state of Georgia has gifts to open that they wished for Christmas morning. Just go to clarkschristmaskids.com and show that once again this year, the power of people, the listeners of WSB, have made the difference.
City of Hope. We're more than just a top-ranked cancer hospital. For over 100 years, we've been making breakthroughs, pushing the limits of what's possible, targeting cancer at the molecular level, pioneering treatments used worldwide. At City of Hope, your entire cancer-fighting team is bound together by a single mission: to cure your cancer. And now City of Hope is closer than ever, providing patients in Metro Atlanta the cancer care they deserve. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we're committed to offering our members the most competitive interest rates in the market. Now, auto loan rates are as low as 3.99%. This is Andy Harris. Come see us for lower rates and kinder banking at Coosa Valley Credit Union.
Equal Opportunity Lender.
Do you think you need to renovate your kitchen, but you're worried about the costs? Well, Frugal Kitchens can help you get $1 million looking kitchen for a fraction of the cost and 18 months, no interest financing available. The best part, they can get you back up and cooking in 5 days from the start of construction. Life happens in your kitchen. That's where you build so many memories. If you're like Christy and me, that's why we use Frugal Kitchens, and you can too. FrugalKitchens.com is the website. Go check them out. Don't forget, 18 months, no interest financing available. FrugalKitchens.com.
Tired of looking at your stuff lying around? Spacemaker's Custom Closets can help you get organized. Their team of designers will help you create the perfect space for your stuff in any room of your house. Check them out at spacemakersclosets.com. Spacemakers Custom Closets, an artisan family brand.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
How are you?
Fine. How you doing?
Great. What's going on?
The government has the capability to send drones, to track drones, and to bring them to the ground without a bullet being fired. And I'm quoting from a military man that I saw on TV, and a week before, that was on Saturday, the military man said that, absolutely. Mm-hmm. A week before, a congressman on the National Security Commission said almost exactly the same thing. So my question is, if we've got that capability, why don't we bring a few down, and why doesn't the government tell us they have that capability and they're going to bring a few down that they're trying to investigate?
You know, I think it's because they know exactly what they are and they haven't been forthcoming in what they're doing, and they don't have a problem with them there. I think that's the issue. We've got lasers that can hit them. You don't have to fire bullets. We've got drones that can track the drones. We've got ways to get these drones, and the government's not doing it, which suggests to me they aren't worried about it, don't have a problem with it, and know what they are. And now the FBI, by the way, literally as I'm sitting here talking, the FBI has just released a public reminder to not shoot at drones in New Jersey. They also are telling people don't shoot lasers at the drones because why? Again, people are confusing airplanes for drones. And you get a red or a green laser in a pilot's eyes that's going to mess up their eyes on landing. You don't want to do that. It creates a dangerous situation. So the FBI is telling people don't shoot them down and don't shoot lasers down. This is why, look, there's a panic spreading. If they're legitimate, and it sounds like they're legit and the government knows what they are, they should be forthcoming with people and say exactly what they are. They're private, commercial drones testing government programs for the government, or they're people confused and seeing commercial or civilian aviation. And just be honest with people instead of dance around. Well, they're illegal drones. Illegal drones are allowed to fly. Tell us what they are. You seem to have an idea, Mr. Government, when you speak from Mayorkas or John Kirby or the FBI or anyone else. And where is Christopher Wray? He hadn't resigned yet. Get him out there talking to people. But nobody's doing it. It's getting to a level of hysteria, I'm afraid. And someone's going to wind up shooting a gun at a plane landing in New Jersey or New York if we're not careful, if the government could just come out. Now, I gotta move on to other stuff. When we come back, I'll take more of your phone calls, 877-973-7425. If you want to be a part of the program, as always, text Eric to 33777. When we come back, the lie of the year. The government of the United States has created lots of lies this year. But PolitiFact has decided the big lie of the year is Donald Trump talking about pets in Springfield, Ohio, as opposed to Joe Biden talking about not pardoning Hunter Biden, or the collective media lie that everything was fine with Joe Biden. We'll take your phone calls and more right here on The Eric Erickson Show.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top local story. Relatives of a protester killed while camping out near the future site of Atlanta's Public Safety Training Center filed suit against the law enforcement officials behind that deadly sweep. Manuel Terran's mother, Belkis, says she needs to know what happened.
I deserve answers. I deserve a proper investigation.
Law enforcement officials say Manuel Terran fired a shot at them from inside a tent, leading police to return fire. Police are on the scene this hour at a shooting near Overlook Avenue near Union Grove in Lithonia. Channel 2 Action News reporting a house there is riddled with bullets. No word yet on anyone being injured, although we have learned that people were inside the home at the time, including a 13-year-old. All new this half hour, Madison, Wisconsin Police Chief Sean Barnes is addressing reporters and the community there, saying they cannot confirm the authenticity of a document now circling online, which is said to be a manifesto of school shooter Natalie Rupnow.
We're looking into her online activity. We're asking anyone who knew her or who may have insights into her feelings leading up to yesterday to please contact the Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
Rupnow killed a teacher and fellow student at Abundant Life Christian School Monday before taking her own life. 6 others were injured. The man accused of shooting 3 people inside the hub at Peachtree Center before being shot and subdued by an off-duty officer last June has been offered a plea deal in Fulton County Superior Court. Jeremy Malone has until January to decide whether to accept the state's offer, which includes 15 years to serve. College Square in Athens is getting a major revamp next year.
Construction on a gateway to downtown Athens bars and restaurants is expected to begin next year. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports the plan calls for a transformation of College Square, the section of College Avenue between the Arch and City Hall. Look for more trees and outdoor seating, plus brick pavers will replace asphalt. The price tag for the makeover is estimated at roughly $6 million. The Downtown Development Authority will fund the project, minus $500,000 coming from a special purpose local option sales tax. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather next. It's 2:32.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health. And I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual Imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Norwegian Cruise Line invites you to experience more in the Caribbean, Alaska, Europe, and beyond. For a limited time, get 50% off all cruises and enjoy NCL's all-new More at Sea cruising package, including unlimited open bar, specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric. So I'm a small business owner. You know, I'm an employee here at the station, but I've also got my own small business for my national syndicated show. And it pains me trying to get great benefits for my employees who I do like to take care of. And healthcare is just absurd these days. Can I recommend to you an option? Hip Nation. They might be able to help you. You're paying outrageous premiums. Your employees, they can barely afford to take care of their health care options themselves, much less add their families to their plans. And maybe you're struggling, like I struggle as a small businessman, to actually provide great health care options for my employees. Try Hip Nation. Go to hipnation.com. Get a free quote. You're going to find they've got great options for your employees. At hipnation.com, you can get a second opinion on your options for healthcare today. They're better healthcare, lower costs. Hipnation.com. That's hipnation.com.
2:34 live team coverage of traffic and weather begins right now. First, let's check in with the WSB 24-hour traffic center. How is the late afternoon drive, Kobe Dawkins?
We're dealing with that travel advisory in Cherokee County, 575 southbound near Highway 92, exit 7. It's construction knocking out one right lane, and then you're also dealing with the crash still knocking out that one left lane, only right shoulder getting you by. Use Highway 5 as an alternate. I'm Kobe Dawkins, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. We'll be warm this afternoon with a partly to mostly cloudy sky near 70, falling back through the 60s this evening.
Right now it's 70 degrees at 2:35 on 95.5 WSB.
Oh, in a bad place here on this program. I'm a little out of breath. I had to go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom. Only after I was finished using the bathroom did I discover no toilet paper. None. It's very bad. I literally got back. You know, that voice that was just telling you welcome back to the Eric Erickson Show? That's when I sat down in the chair. Catching my breath here. A little bit of a panic, but it's okay. The next stall, thank God, had toilet paper. Good gracious. What a way to end the show today. Dead air because your host is trapped in a bathroom without toilet paper. Wasn't expecting that. A little out of sorts now, but I'm back. I can begin to take phone calls here. Bart, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. Okay, Bart, I just got to tell you, I got to tell you real quick. I'm looking at the call screen. I got Bart, Bob, and Brad all on hold. We got the bees today. Welcome.
Well, hey, I've got to really disagree with you on your call about the big lie. You know, it's not the dinner menu of Haitian immigrants or Biden with the politicization of the Democrat-controlled Justice Department, but not against the Republicans. But the widespread media lie and cover-up and supported by all Democrat politicians of Biden's mental decline and his, that look at the consequences of that since June 27th. I mean, you had a candidate thrown out. You had another candidate stuck in there claiming they're for democratic values, and how many million of people, 14 million Democrats, didn't get their votes to count in the primaries? I mean, by and far, that's got to be one of the biggest lies that has truly come out against our democracy and republic.
Yeah, look, I actually think there's something to that. I notice that it is PolitiFact, which is an outlet of the media. You will also note, I think I can say this, that when news outlets lost their credibility, the first thing they did to try to get their credibility back was to establish fact checkers who would just reiterate their narratives, whether they were true or not. So, for example, when Sarah Palin said that there would be death panels in Obamacare, and there were until she exposed them, they said that was a lie, and it turned out to be true. When Barack Obama said you can keep your doctor if you like your doctor, they said that was true, and then it turned out to be a lie. And time again, PolitiFact and other fact checkers out there routinely point out that something Republicans say is a big lie, even when it's true. And when Democrats say something that's a lie, they say it's true. Go back to this volcano. I pointed this out and had a fact checker come after me, not because I was wrong, but because at the time the scientists were still not as insistent as I was that it was true. And now all the scientists have come out and said, yep, actually the volcano is having a lot to do with it. And these members of the media who dismissed it all away as nothing have nothing to say now. They're all surprised by what they're seeing in the world, something that I told you was going to happen because of the volcano. And they said, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I was right. And they just can't remember it all of a sudden. Daniel Dale is back at CNN. He's been in the witness protection program, I guess, for most of the Biden administration. They didn't bother fact-checking Biden as rigorously as they would Trump. Hey, that's the other thing, too. So one of the things that bothers me about the fact-checkers is Donald Trump is a man from Queens, New York, who often speaks like a man from Queens, New York, and the media loves to fact-check this. I can't believe Donald Trump would say something like that. He spoke just like a dude in the comment section would from Queens, New York, and the media's like, we must fact-check that. Donald Trump likes to use hyperbole. It's always the best. It's the greatest of the great. It's the best of the best, or the worst of the worst, the terrible, low-down scum of the earth. And that's the way people talk, particularly from Queens. And the media's like, oh, we must fact check this. Is it really the worst? Well, there was bubonic plague, so maybe it's not the worst. Therefore, he lied. They can't help themselves. They've discredited themselves. And the fact that for 4 years they've lied to cover Joe Biden's condition, they have lied about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, they've lied about the Biden family, they lied about Joe Biden and pardons, and now they're deciding that their lie of the year is actually an intentional distortion of the record. And by the way, J.D. Vance admitted as much. It was designed to cause the media to have to cover what was actually going on. And they're saying this is the lie of the year because they never want to hold themselves accountable for their own lies. The media wants to hold everyone accountable except themselves, which is one reason they're all going out of the business. I don't know if you've seen CNN and MSNBC's ratings, but they're in the gutter. Fox News has actually gone up in viewers. MSNBC and CNN have collapsed. Why? Because people are tired of the arrogance of a media that lacks humility. And CNN and MSNBC, and I have a lot of friends at CNN and I like the network, but that is a network that has gotten very arrogant and does not like to admit when it's wrong and does not like to show humility in its coverage. And it's a problem. All right, Bob, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Bob. How are you?
I'm doing great, Eric. And you?
I'm well.
Good. Climate change. We've had a lot of supposed experts, and they all seem to be leftists, saying that, climate change is a factual thing. Climate's changed for eons. The point is that others I've read who have studied the models they've used say that some of their assumptions they disagree with. I would like to see this resolved somewhat and see maybe that a federal commission could be established, nonpartisan, climatologists, volcanologists, geologists. They look at it and say, yes, climate change is or isn't, to what degree, and also what is the U.S. doing, and will it affect the climate change that's occurring globally or not?
Look, I would like for them to do this, but you know and I know they'll get a bunch of socialist partisans out there to doctor it up with whatever they want to say. And, you know, I got to admit, I am at this point in my life willing to say I think that humanity plays a role in the climate. Why? Because we are a symbiotic system of living creatures, both plant and animal, who together shape our climate. So, yes, I think we play a role. And there are billions of us, and we produce industrial equipment and industrial pollution and all that. That being said, we're also on a little blue orb that is circling a giant nuclear reactor that is itself circling a giant black hole. And we, on our planet, none of us have ever been alive when our sun is at the position it is around the Milky Way, around the black hole at the center of the Milky Way. We don't know. We have no records. We know that the world has been hotter than it is now before humanity even existed on the planet. So my personal sense is that, yeah, humanity plays a role in the climate, but also nature plays a role in the climate. And I would venture to say that nature plays a bigger role than humanity plays in the climate. And whether we play a role or humanity or nature plays a role, we should be adapting to it instead of trying to abandon the comforts of the 21st century and live in caves again so that environmentalists can feel good about themselves. We are very adaptable as a people. No one is predicting the world is going to be so hot that we're not going to be able to survive it. So adapt to it. Just adapt. We got plenty of ways to adapt to the climate changing. We might as well adapt to it. Should we be good stewards of the earth? Absolutely. I'm not saying just pollute willy-nilly. We should be good stewards. God gave us a planet. We should be taking care of it. Leave it better than we found it. At the same time, God also gave us fossil fuels. He gave us dinosaurs. This is the genius of the Lord God Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. He gave us dinosaurs on like the 5th or 6th day. And then he sent a meteor and he wiped them out so that millions of years later, the descendants of Adam and Eve would have fossil fuels to fuel their cars and their rocket ships to other planets. And God gave us oil. We should treat it as a blessing and a resource to be stewarded wisely for this planet until we can figure out how to turn hydrogen into an easily accessible fuel source. See, the goal here is not actually batteries. Batteries are a nonsense marketing scheme. It's actually hydrogen. Once we figure out how to readily use hydrogen for a fuel source, we can put the fossil fuels behind us. We don't need the batteries. We don't need half measures. By the way, speaking of, there's some breaking news happening right now. Honda and Nissan have decided to merge, and they're going to rope Mitsubishi into it as well because Nissan apparently owns more than a quarter of Mitsubishi, so they want to wrap the three of them together into a new car company to be able to compete against the Chinese dumping electric vehicles on planet Earth. So we'll get a new big one. We'll see. Now, notice they waited. Even though they're a Japanese company, they still have to deal with American regulators because they're a global company. Notice they've waited until the end of the Biden administration to decide they need to merge. Not a coincidence, even though they're Japanese. We had Bob. Now we're going to Brad. All the bees today, Brad. How are you?
All the bees. Hey, first of all, I've got two words that could change your life in the future. Sacrificial sock.
What, sacrificial sock?
Sock. Yeah, you know, when you were trapped a little bit ago.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. Yep.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
That is true. That is true. For high school boys, it's something else, but we better move on from there.
Yes, we should. So back in the early 30s during the Dust Bowl, the world had a worldwide heat wave. And then in 53, 54, during the end of the Korean War, we had a worldwide heat wave. Those used to be the dates of the hottest temperatures on record. About 15 or 20 years ago, there was a story in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution saying that the groups, NOAA and the other ones that chart temperature data, had gone back to the historic record and refactored all of those temperatures. And the result was that they lowered those temperatures from the historic data. And then they increased the temperatures down in our way, down at this point in time, kind of like that hockey stick stripe that was real famous a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find that on Google. I've paid attention to it the last 10 years, and every year it gets a little bit harder to find. But you guys have the power and the horsepower to find that, like through Nexus Lexus and whatever else.
I'll have to track that one down. And, part of the problem, too, for all the extreme temperatures is because of development and the heat island effect, a lot of those temperature monitoring stations used to be in grassy areas. Yeah, and now they're at tarmacs at airports, and so you do get absorbed heat on the black tarmac, and so suddenly the temperature's hotter there. So I don't doubt that temperatures have gone up a little bit, but also we're skewing it with these models of temperature stations that used to be out in wilderness and are now in the middle of a city just because of growth. Yeah.
Right, and they're literally changing the old dates, the old temperatures. They're lowering them so that, it was cooler in the 30s and 40s and 50s. We were mistaken. It was actually cooler, but now it's warmer.
Yeah. Now I gotta say though, if we're going to be honest about it, the hottest day on planet Earth really was August 9th, 1945, and no one's ever going to set that record again. The temperature station Nagasaki records it.
There was a outcry about that. There was a follow-up story in the AJC, and they reinstated the hottest day on record.
Yeah, well, okay. Brad, my point totally sailed over you. Hottest day on record, August 9th, 1945. That's the day the bomb went off in Nagasaki.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, it's been a week.
Yeah, it has been a week. I can't believe it's only Tuesday, and it feels like it's Friday. All right, Brad, I got to let you go there. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, hottest day on planet, hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth, August 9th, 1945, maybe August 6th, 1945. But, things went boom. Sorry. Have I mentioned I have dark humor? We must move on to Hillsdale College because right now you can sign up for a course at Hillsdale College on the Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens Christmas Carol. Y'all, this is completely free. It's actually a great introductory system into how Hillsdale teaches classes. You get to experience it yourself, and they're like 30-minute lectures from one of their great assistant professors of English at Hillsdale College so that you can get a sense, one, of Charles Dickens and the meaning and the plots and the depth of what's in Christmas Carol, but also get a sense of what Hillsdale College is all about and how unique they are. All you do is go to ericforhillsdale.com today. You can sign up and take these three. Do them at your own pace. You get a certificate of completion once you've done them from Hillsdale College, certifying you actually went through a program at Hillsdale College. You don't have to pay a thing for it. And you can also sign up from Primus. It is completely free. All you have to do is go to ericforhillsdale.com today, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College. Find out why they're so special, why they're so unique. And this is perfectly timed for the Christmas season, a class on Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. It is 6 30-minute lectures. Do it at your own pace. You get a certificate of completion when you're done from Hillsdale College, and you learn a lot about just even the background and the backdrop and the deeper themes that Charles Dickens was reflecting in his story. Go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up. It's completely free.
You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show, the perfect blend of news, analysis, opinion, and cooking. Hang on. Is that right? Yeah, cooking.
At 2:51, looking at better news out of Woodstock in the Corey Carrier. Traffic center crash cleared and construction gone by the wayside. All lanes back open. 575 south at Highway 92. That's exit 7, but delays still active, stretching to a few miles, so you want to keep using Highway 5 to dodge those delays until it thins out. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
News,
There's a big recall at Tesla, 1.8 million Teslas.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
A new lawsuit targets the troubled Fulton County Jail.
And when it breaks.
This is a churning moment. There's still a lot to be decided.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Having a crawl space is great for storage. It's what you don't want in there that can be a problem. Dave Baker here. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions will encapsulate your crawl space and keep mold, pests, and the unwanted out. Visit aquaguard.net for your free inspection.
AquaGuard. Spend time where it matters most this holiday season. Sell your home fast with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. It's Eric Erickson here. Don't worry about open houses and spending money on costly repairs. The guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market, receive an all-cash offer, and close in as little as 21 days. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you will make. So who you work with matters. Trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start backing.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, Priority Men's Medical Center will get your love life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your love life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To regain your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Traveling for the holidays? Take Eric's podcast with you. Available on Apple, Pandora, the Odyssey app, and wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search The Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to play you some audio here. I don't have the video of this. Just listen. Let me make sure I've got my sound routed so you can appreciate this. This is Vice President Kamala Harris.
Say this as we close out this year. I ask of you this, that those here and anyone watching, that you will not walk away, that you will stay true to your spirit and your sense of purpose, that you will continue to fight for the promise of America. And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that. I ask you to remember that this struggle is not new. It goes back nearly 250 years to Lexington and Concord. Generation after generation, it has been driven by those who love our country, cherish its ideals, and refuse to sit passive.
I can't believe someone like that lost. Wow. That's just not good. It's not good writing. It's not good delivery. She takes herself too seriously in that, but the context in which you live, just, my gosh. Kamala Harris was not a good candidate. You know, they're now debating whether or not she should run for governor in California in 26 and lay some groundwork in an election there to then run for president in 28. And some are arguing that she can't do 26 and be California's governor because that would then forestall her ability to run for president. I wish she would run again. In all seriousness, I hope Kamala Harris runs for president again so people can see just how bad a candidate she was. Because otherwise she allows this mythology to escape that, oh, she only had 170 days. There was nothing she could do. She could have done a lot. She was just a terrible candidate. And people want to rewrite 2020, so let's have a do-over in 28 against Vance, and people can be reminded what a horrible candidate she was, who took herself too seriously and never did the work for the job.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
We, the American people, are so unbelievably generous. There's no other country on earth where people give money from their heart, from their wallet, for causes they care about like we do in the United States. And December, more than any other month, we donate, which makes us vulnerable to all the scamsters who are pretending they're a charity at a street corner with a solicitation you get in the mail, by phone, by text, whatever. I want you to feel that generous spirit. I want you to give, but make sure you're giving to an organization that is actually on the up and up, that the money is spent well, spent efficiently. Start with organizations you have firsthand knowledge of. Beyond that, I've got a guide at Clark.com that helps you know whether a charity you're thinking of giving to is the real deal. I'm Clark Howard.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk. News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Veronica Waters, and WSB's top local story.
Why so much destruction and violence?
The parents of a man shot and killed by officers almost 2 years ago while protesting the development